I'm Ben Farha with Farha Roofing. Whether it's a quick repair, routine maintenance, or a full roof replacement, Farha Roofing is ready to protect your home or business. With decades of experience and a commitment to quality, we make protecting your home or business simple and stress-free. Don't wait until a small issue becomes a big problem. Call us today or visit farharoofing.com. Farha Roofing. We're proud to be Wichita's trusted roofing experts. Local, reliable, and always rising above the rest.
Whether it's courtside, curbside, or inside your office, Janet King is Wichita's go-to for commercial cleaning. From banks to ballparks, Janet King keeps local businesses looking their best and operating with championship-level standards. Trust the King of Clean to handle the dirty work so you can stay focused on winning the day. Visit janetking.com or call your local Wichita team today. Janet King, clean results, local service, big league standards.
If you're looking to win in Wichita, there's only one place that delivers every single day. Gilley's Gambling Hall. We're talking over 1,000 gaming machines, more chances, more action, and more big wins. And when it's time to turn up the thrill, head to Trackside. Simulcast horse race betting unlike anything else in the region. Fast, exciting, and always in the money. Make no mistake, Gilley's Gambling Hall is the best place to win in Wichita. Find out more by visiting playgillies.com.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Just the opportunity to see, another team's game plan. Obviously, it's a little watered down just because of preseason. Everybody just kind of getting their technical thing and stuff ready, but studying the same guys for weeks on end. So just being able to go out there and execute that and apply it back to the film room and just see the different things that I can work on.
Wichita's home for Chiefs coverage, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Turning belief
He's gonna score
into victories.
And Kansas will win.
Soar with the Jayhawks all season long.
He fumbles the ball. KU's got it. 15-10-5. Touchdown, Kansas.
Join us Friday, September 4th as the Jayhawks start the 2026 campaign against the LIU Sharks in Lawrence. On your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. Wichita's sports leader. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. KKGQ Newton.
Rolling open.
This is the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Yeah, it is. Hello, welcome. Shane Dennis Show, episode 1287 for you today, here on a Thursday. Easton John in for Jack today. We'll hear from him here in just a little bit. Easton running the show, telling a joke, contributing here and there. Speaking of contributions, for the next couple of hours, how about you be a part of the show if you want to be, or if you want to just listen, that's cool. But we do have a couple of avenues for you guys to be a part of the show if you want to be. And if you're new to the station, welcome. Hopefully we got you hooked. Hopefully we'll keep you here. And in the meantime, we will be giving away a couple different things today. Pat will have some Kansas State Fair freebies later on. I will have some drive-in movie freebies and some Kansas Lottery freebies a little later on. But the numbers that you need in order to qualify to win those things are as follows. Oh, and by the way, pick 6 today at 1 o'clock. We just got in our gift that we're going to give away to some lucky listener at the end of the football season. And it is, I don't know, maybe even, I don't know if it's better than the Busch Light neon sign, but it's a Busch Light cornhole board with a travel case that goes along with it. So one of these days at the end of the football season, if you end up qualifying for that thing, we'll have drawing for it and give that away too. But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked, but in order for you to get qualified to win any of those things, you have a hotline. If we ask you to call, that's the number you call, 316-669-4569. 4996. We also have a text line, and that'll be pretty important for you today. The text line will be. So label it as such. And that number is 316-666-2285. I will ask you to use that at least twice today, in addition to if you just want to ask questions, make comments, or just give us your 2 cents worth on whatever the topic at hand is. That's text line. That's how you can do that. It's the most immediate avenue to the show. And if we get to those queries or comments in a timely fashion, we'll read them on the air if you want us to, if that's okay. So there you go. Those are your numbers, and those are going to be big for you today. Trust me. Smart speaker, if you got one of those, tell it to play ESPN Wichita 92.3, 92.3 FM on your radio dial. Stream us at work, espnwichita.com. Download our ESPN Wichita app. Take us with you wherever you go, regardless of what kind of phone you have. iPhone, Android, doesn't matter. Download the app. Also, you can listen to past shows, podcasts. Those are archived on our app and at espnwichita.com. Just scroll around and look for the podcast page. That way you can listen to in any form you like. The whole thing, little snippets of my show, The Pulse with Pat. After that is the program with Seren Petro. He's on from 4 to 6. New Day with SSJ is on in the mornings from 8 to 10. And we got the Golics. You probably heard Rich Eisen if you're hanging near the radio dial or the stream. That's what we got all day long for you. Plus, during the baseball season, got Wichita wins Surge baseball. Arkansas victorious last night over the Surge. You heard it right here on the channel. And game 3 of that series tonight continues at 6:20. During the football season, we will have the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll have game of the week in addition to the Cowboys. So once football rolls around, we'll have plenty of football play-by-play for you, in addition to our high school game of the week that we will crank up here in the very near future, coming your way at a Friday near you. So we'll have all kinds of sports play-by-play as Wichita's sports leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Find us on Instagram and TikTok. We are at all those places on social. And we are live streaming, video streaming the show on our Twitter page or X page at ESPN Wichita, or Facebook and our YouTube channel. You subscribe to that, you can watch us when we're here at our Equity Bank Park studio, which we are today. And today is August 27th, 239th day of the year, 126 days left in 2026. We are headed for a high today in Wichita of 91 degrees. All right. There are your numbers. Those are your channels, how you can be a part of the show, how you can contact us if you want to. And now, without further ado, here's Easton with our moment of levity.
Yes. The joke has returned. Which player on a baseball team holds the water?
Give up. Who?
The pitcher.
Of course.
Boom.
Of course. Today is National Just Because Day. It's National Peach Day. And because of that, that is the topic of the Truck Stuff Twitter question, which we'll get to later in hour number 1. Also, it's the born day of 2 former vice presidents of the United States, Hannibal Hamlin and Charles Dawes. Both those guys were born in the 1800s. Hamlin was the 15th VP of the United States. Dawes was the 30th. And it's also Lyndon Baines Johnson born day. He checked out in 1973. Jeff Cook, born on this day, now dead, member of the country band Alabama, passed away 4 years ago, his born day. Also no longer with us, Paul Rubens. Easton, you know who Paul Rubens was better known as?
No, what is he known as?
Pee Wee Herman.
Oh,
yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, that was him. He died 3 years ago.
A lot of deaths recently. It's
Yeah.
Optimus Prime died today, too.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's wild.
85. Tim Curry, 80. Dolly Parton, 80. Also, R.I.P. the Pro Bowl. So I guess it happens in fours after all. The Pro Bowl passed away. That was probably a long time coming, the Pro Bowl. What took them so long to figure that out?
10 years too late.
Yeah. Nobody watched. Nobody cared. It was, what was it? Flag football? Is that what it turned into?
Once they saw Shadir Sanders as a Pro Bowler, they're like, okay.
Good point. Good point. A texter reminding us, Northwest and Bishop Carroll next week. I'll be on the visitor side helping direct the Northwest band. Enjoy that, texter, and we hope you get great weather for that big time clash, Northwest and Bishop Carroll. All right. Here's what we're going to talk about today. The streak is over. The Royals are no longer streaking. It ends at 9 in a row, and it was going to happen sometime, but that didn't make last night's 3-0 loss any less, I don't want to say painful, but it was a pretty listless effort. They end up getting shut out by a bunch of relievers. So we'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. Won't spend a whole lot of time on it. We'll turn the page, move on, talk about maybe wedge in some wind surge news in there too. They played a close game, but fell a little bit short. Who's LIU? I will hopefully inform you and do a little tutorial of the school from Brookville, New York, that Kansas will take on next Friday. So talk about the Sharks, and it may surprise you. It may not surprise you, and how they've done over the last 4 years playing, I would say Division I opponents, but FBS opponents. So we'll talk about the Sharks coming up at 12:25. Enlighten you, perhaps. They play tonight. So if you're a KU fan and you want to do a little advanced scouting, you can do that. LIU opens up tonight. I'll tell you who it's against and where. Coming up at 12:25. The Truck Stuff Twitter question has to do with peaches. I like peaches a lot. So that made the list today since it's National Peach Day. And then we'll give away some stuff somewhere in there too. So perk your ears up, bottom of the hour toward the top of the second hour. And then we will have the debut of Pick Six. We'll pick our games. There will be, I think, 7 of them officially. Yeah, 7. Of course, no NFL games just yet. But that's a presentation of Busch Light. We'll have Jamie Bluma, 125, brought to you by CBD American Shaman, Wichita and Derby. We'll talk to him about that streak in Kansas City and what the final 29-ish plus game. How many games they got left? 28 games, I think it is now. 28 games remaining. So we'll talk to Jamie about that. A little baseball talk at bottom of hour 2. And then I'm old Easton's young, August 27 version. Easton in for Jack today. By then, Pat will be here, and he will slide in that last segment. We'll have a little crosstalk with him and get you ready for the Pulse coming up from 2 to 4. I will repeat once again, I said it about this time yesterday. If you're watching on the stream, or if you should happen, I don't know if the microphone's picking this up or not, but if you happen to hear a low rumble or kind of a roar, they are under construction across the street from our studio. They're building a hotel, apparently. And it's going to take forever, by the way. So get used to this, I guess, if you hear it or see it. But because the ground is shaking occasionally, the video stream camera vibrates sometimes. So if you think your eyes are going crazy or your mind's playing tricks on you, it's not. The ground is actually moving a little bit. And so it looks like the stream is kind of wavy. That's because of the chair that the camera is on the live stream is kind of rocking back and forth a little bit. So
you seem thrilled about that.
I just want to make sure that I don't get any negative feedback. How about that?
Yeah.
That's maybe the nicest way I can put it. Yeah, I can hear it. I can see the cranes, the semis, the dump trucks, the skid steers. I guess that's okay. As long as it doesn't get any louder than it is. But that's the price you pay for progress, right? By the time that thing's done, it ought to be great. There are actually condos. For those of you familiar with Equity Bank Park, there's going to be condos to the south of where we are right now, basically south of the stadium in that parking lot. A new bunch of condos, plus right next to the river where I'm staring out the window, just east of McLean, which is the road that is right out in front of us. Apparently it's going to be a pretty fancy hotel. So ground is broken for that. And if you should happen to notice that the stream is a little either shaky or there's extra outside noise, that's the reason. And it might be that way for a while. So my apologies if that bugs you. And maybe that'll save you from asking me what the hell's going on over there. Or actually, Pat's the one that noticed it 2 days ago. He said the camera's starting to shake as they're excavating underground across the street. Texter says, Cags had some rough ABs last night, especially one of the bases loaded early in the game. That's as good a place as any to start, Texter, because unfortunately, that was the KC's best chance to score last night. They get shut out on 6 hits, and it was 3-0 the final. Toronto got a 3-run home run in the 4th inning. That was it. Beyond that, good job, Randy Dobnak. Good job, Mason Black. But the Royals couldn't do anything with 7 pitchers. Now, Louis Varland's pretty good. He's got really good stuff. Former Windsurge star, Louis Varland. He closed it out, got his 30th save. Well, all the rest of those guys, the Royals were baffled by, and I'm baffled that they were baffled. They got a couple of hits against Tyler Rogers. They threatened against Varland in the 9th, brought the tying run to the plate, but at no point did I think Isaac Collins was going to do anything with Louis Varland, and as it turns out, he didn't. But I forget the inning, but it was early. It was in one of the first 2 or 3 innings. The situation was, and this is a topic of conversation at a text thread. They had the Royals had 2 on for Bobby Witt Jr., first and second. And I believe no outs, but regardless, good scoring opportunity. You got the heart of the order coming up. It was Jensen and Tolbert. I think Isbell made out. So it was first and second, 1 out. And then Tolbert and Jensen, they pulled off a double steal. So now you got a base open, and after 2 breaking balls to Bobby that were down and in, they ended up intentionally walking him. And so there was that sort of, why did they do that? You take the bat out of Bobby's hands because you know they're going to be careful with him and put him on, which they did. My counter was I didn't mind it. First of all, Alejandro Kirk can't throw. So if he airmails one into left field, you get a gift run. And even if not, and they do walk Bobby Witt Jr., Jack Caglione is one of the best hitters in the big leagues in August. He ought to be able to put a ball in play against a slop left-hander. And he didn't. He struck out. Ended up going 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. So did Salvi, by the way. And to be fair, nobody did much of anything except Carter Jensen. He was on base 3 times, but nobody else did much. But Caglione at bat was big because all you have to do there is not strike out. And that's exactly what he did. And that's exactly what Salvador Perez did. He struck out too. So I guess, if either one of them come through there, maybe that's still not enough to win the game because They didn't score the rest of the time, but won't put a whole lot of stock in it. Honestly, it's just 1 out of 162, but if they would have gotten it, that would have been 10 in a row. And so that would have been the cool part about that. But as it is, we turn the page. The final game of the series tonight at 6:07 Central Time from Rogers Center in Toronto. And Noah Cameron, boy, if he hasn't been must-see TV, I don't know what is. Over the last month and a half, he's evened his record at 8-8. He's flirted with multiple no-hitters since the All-Star break and backed up a complete game one hitter with pretty solid 5 innings of work that he had to work a little extra hard for his last time out. So Q pulled the plug up with 85 pitches, and I don't blame him for that. There were some Royals fans that had some heartburn about not letting him go further, but for a team, and they weren't in the midst of the run that they were, well, they were, but take 5 games off of this season and you are 130 games in, you want Noah Cameron to go one more inning for you, but anyway, he's got an ERA of 4.02 now too. That was crazy talk 2 months ago. Or I'm trying to think. It's probably closing in on 2 months ago since his ERA was 5.27. It was after the Padres game. And then he and the powers that be, I don't know whose idea this really was, never did get to the bottom of that, decided he wanted to start calling his own game. He's Seth Lugo. He's going to his pitch comm device on his belt, telling the catcher what he wants to throw. And ever since then, he's been a wizard. Short of the Dodger game where I think he gave up 4 and 5+, something like that. But it's been none or 1 in every other game. So we'll see what happens tonight against the Blue Jays. And then from there, they will take their show to Cleveland, play the Guardians for the first time in a long time. So the streak's over. The Royals lose last night 3-0. Onward and upward as Noah Cameron will pitch north of the border tonight, trying to win the series for the Royals and get win number 60 for KC. They are 59-75 currently. And for those curious maybe more importantly than the Royals losing is Cleveland won again. They've won 7 straight. So they're now the hottest team in the American League. And that loss dropped the Royals 9 back of the final wild card spot, which Cleveland owns. So going head to head starting tomorrow against the team of the final playoff spot, Cleveland is 68-66. And Texas is 2 back of the final wild card spot. So it gives you an idea. You got to be around 500, like right at 500, in order to have an opportunity to make the playoffs in the American League, at least this year. And the New York Yankees, I will circle back and admonish myself for even suggesting, and I did, that at the time of Aaron Judge going on the IL, I said, keep your eye on the Yankees, see if they slide at all. At the time, they were first in the wild card chase by 7.5 games. All these months later, without Judge all this time, they're 8 games in front in the first wild card spot. So what was at least 2 months, maybe 3 months, or however long Judge has been out, the Yankees have been holding steady on the number 1 spot in the wild card. And 4 games, I believe, back of Tampa for the division, if you want to look at it that way. But Yankees cruising right along at 75-57. Then it's the Red Sox, both those teams very comfortably in the wild card chase. And then it's a kind of a scrum. There are 4 teams within 3 games of that final spot. The Guardians have it right now, but Texas, Baltimore, and Toronto are in the mix. Toronto's only 3 back. They've been kind of treading water lately. Toronto has, and got the win last night against the Royals by a score of 3-0. All right, we are closing in on football season, and you don't have to tell LIU that. Long Island, the Sharks, they actually have a game tonight. We'll tell you against who, and then next week on Friday in Lawrence at David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium, KU LIU. Who's LIU? I'll tell you about it when we come back next. It's 12:22.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show
Booth Creek
on
Wagyu.
ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Hello, folks. Let me tell you about my good friends at Booth Creek Wagyu. I'm sure you know by now, they have lunch specials on Fridays, and it varies from time to time what it is. But most of the time, pretty consistently, they've got Wagyu cheeseburgers, and they have those again on lunch special tomorrow. From 11 to 2, while supplies last, Booth Creek Wagyu on Fridays have a lunch special. First of all, it's excellent. They've had meatball subs. They've had seafood featured. They have their Wagyu cheeseburgers featured. Most importantly, though, when you go Fridays to take out, it's very convenient. Just pick it up and take it out. But if you mention ESPN Wichita or the Shane Dennis Show or both, you get $2 off. So even better. Tomorrow it's cheeseburgers, Wagyu beef cheeseburgers, and they're great. They served them to us last time we were out there, and they were legit. $2 off if you go in there, carry out, tell them you heard about them on ESPN Wichita or the Shane Dennis Show, and Booth Creek Wagyu will hook you up. Otherwise, go to boothcreekwagyu.com, peruse their cuts of meat online. You can order there that way. If you're in there, ask for Jeannie. Tell her that we sent you. They're at 21st and Webb. Again, the Friday lunch special is Wagyu cheeseburgers at 21st and Webb. Tell them ESPN Wichita sent you for $2 off. Also, go to boothcreekwagyu.com.
Hey Wichita, my name is Hayes and school's back in session. Football season is here and that means practices, games, and weekends packed with sports. When my family heads out, we've got baseball bags, football gear, folding chairs, snacks, and somehow it all fits in our brand new Kia Telluride. Whether we're headed to practice, Friday night lights, or cheering from the stands, we've always got room for the whole crew. If your family's always on the go like mine, stop by Midwest Kia. They got the perfect vehicle for every practice, every road trip, and every game day. Midwest Kia, proud to drive Wichita families all season long.
The Surge are on the road this week in Texas, and listen to the games from Frisco. The Wind Surge return home Tuesday, August 25th for a key series against Arkansas. It starts with a 2 for Tuesday, continues with a Wet Nose Wednesday, a Turbo Tubs Thirsty Thursday. Friday brings post-game fireworks, Saturday a Wind Surge hockey jersey giveaway, and we wrap it up on Sunday with a Kids Day. Join the fun and get your tickets at windsurge.com and listen to the game tonight starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
All right, welcome back. It's 12:25 here on Thursday. We got Jamie Bluma coming up in an hour, a little baseball talk. We got the debut of Pick 6 coming up in a little over half an hour from right now. We got some giveaways all throughout the day as well. So be ready for that. You want to win some freebies. And tonight marks the beginning of the 2026 college football season at a few different venues. The Division II level, I want a quick shout out to Division II Pittsburgh State. They play tonight, and we're going to pick that game. But I just want to highlight last year's national champion Ferris State is going to the Jungle to take on Pitt State. It's number 1 versus number 4. Good for both of those two teams who have actually played in the regular season each of the last couple of years, and then they met in the playoffs last year. But Ferris State and Pitt State, they're really the highlight of Division II games tonight. But another game tonight featuring FCS schools is LIU at North Dakota. Now, why that matters to you Jayhawk fans, of course, is Kansas hosts LIU next Friday. Game you can hear right here on the channel. Game starts at 7:00. And if you're unaware of what kind of school LIU football is, you're not alone, because I was curious last night myself. They're called the Sharks, which is kind of cool. But where are they located? What conference are they in? And maybe more importantly, how have they stacked up against the big boys? Because, most of those FCS schools get at least one big check, get a bye game, that they go on the road somewhere in September, and most of the time get beaten pretty badly, but take a check home with them for their trouble and their bruises. And so I went back and looked over the last 4 years how often they've played a Division I opponent. And you go back 5 years, they had 3 checks. They went to FIU, West Virginia, and Miami of Ohio. This was in 2021. Now, that particular year, they weren't good at all. They finished 2-8, but they had 3 consecutive bye games, and they lost them all pretty badly. But since then, 2022 until last year, they've played a grand total of 7 games in the last 4 years against FBS teams. And they've actually won one. And I don't want to offend anyone out there by taking this the way it's not intended. But the schools that LIU has played from 2022 through last year are as follows: Toledo, Kent State, Ohio, Baylor, TCU, Eastern Michigan, and Florida. So it could be defined by some that there were in the past 3 pretty high level Division I, FBS, whatever opponents that scheduled LIU. And that would be Florida, TCU, and Baylor. The others are from the non-Power 4. Let's call them what they are. They're actually from the MAC: Ohio, Eastern Michigan, Kent State, and Toledo. So 4 of the 7 were out of the MAC, and the other 3 were SEC, Big 12, Big 12. Big 12 coming up a week from Friday, going to KU. Now, as KU fan, see the Jayhawks on par with 2023 Baylor or 2024 TCU? That's up for you guys to decide. I don't know that. But question is, and the idea is that KU is probably closer to Eastern Michigan, Ohio, Kent State, and Toledo than they are against Florida and TCU, and maybe not necessarily Baylor, but I think you get the idea. Well, how did they do? And what can we expect by comparative scores a week from Friday? And a lot can happen between now and then. Of course, LIU has a game tonight, so we'll see how they do against North Dakota. But back in 2022, the 2 MAC schools that they visited, it didn't go well. They got beat 37-0 at Toledo, and they lost 63-10 at Kent State. That was in 2022. They went on to go 4-7. So they kind of survived. Actually, they lost to Villanova, who was ranked at the FCS level at the time, sandwiched in between the Kent State and Toledo losses. They actually won their last 4, if you're into that. They're in the Northeast Conference with the likes of St. Francis, Merrimack, Wagner, Duquesne, Central Connecticut State, Sacred Heart. Those are the teams in their league. So in 2022, they got smashed by 2 MAC schools, finished 4-7. 2023, also 4-7, and lost to Ohio 27-10, lost to Baylor 30-7. So really, all things considered, FCS versus FBS held their own and ended up 4-7 overall in that year. 2024, 2 seasons ago, finished 4-8, and the only Division I, the only bye game that they had was TCU, and they lost 45-0. They went on to finish 4-8 that year. So they pretty much hold their own in the NEC, but very rarely do they get a win against the big boys. 2025 was the exception. In 2025, they played Florida and Eastern Michigan and ended up 6-6 overall. Florida beat them 55-0, but the very next week they won at Eastern Michigan 28-23 and ended up 6-6 overall, as I said. And that brings us to 2025's carryover, if you will. Is there one? So in their last 7 against FBS opponents, they're 1-6, but against teams, in my opinion, that are closer to Kansas than Florida, LIU holds its own. Ohio, they lost by 17. Eastern Michigan, they beat. Now, 2022, they got drubbed by Toledo and Kent State. But I'll warn you, I guess. And that's the whole reason for bringing this up, is I don't think it's going to be a walkover by KU Friday night. I just don't. Texter just fired off a text, said Zeke Marshall, confirmed starter, interested to see how sitting under JD, being in the system for as long as he has. They're going to try out both quarterbacks against LIU, correct? Yes, they are. Lance Leipold has said that. Then for the MU game, do you think they'll stick with one QB for the majority of the game or using both, splitting snaps closer to 50-50? How Lance Leipold defines both guys will play is a little hard to follow. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a hot hand kind of thing or both guys will get snaps and then we'll see who's doing what, and then maybe stick with the guy that's got a little something going on. But I don't know, to me, Texter and Easton, see what you think when it comes to not having named a starter until now. And I haven't seen it yet, so I'll take your word for it, Texter, if they've actually declared that they're going to go with one guy or the other. Oh, they have. I just saw it. Okay, thank you, Texter. Isaiah Marshall being named KU starting quarterback. But at the time, last week, Lance Leipold said both will play. I assume that to still be true. And if maybe I'm reading too much into this, Easton, but if it took this long to name a starter, to me, that meant that Cole Ballard was at least kind of right there.
Yeah.
And so there's not a cut and dried, this guy's our guy and this guy's going to back him up. If you're going to run both those guys out there, I'm a little cringy on that part. I want a guy.
I agree. And I think it was just a really competitive battle in camp. And, Give him 4 games. If he's not doing great, then you put the next guy up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this. He goes in for 2 quarters. He doesn't look good in 2 quarters. Now we're going to bring in this guy in the last 2 quarters in the first game. I don't like it. I think that's a little much. I feel like.
Yeah, and
go with the guy.
Yeah,
if he's not working out, on to the next guy up.
And the last thing you want is those guys looking over their shoulders,
exactly,
waiting to come out of the game. And when you declare that both guys are going to play, I would think invariably Isaiah Marshall's going to be like, all right, well, I'm coming out here sooner or later, 2 drives, 3 drives, I don't know, 1 drive, whatever, or in the middle of a drive, does Cole Ballard come in and run a couple of plays, or I don't know. I'm not sure what the vision is there, but all that kind of rolled into one. To answer the texter's question, I'm not sure if by the Missouri game anything is going to get ironed out. I might be wrong. Maybe either Marshall or Ballard has a great game against LIU, which even if they do, all due respect to the Sharks, is that enough to vault one of them into the QB1 stratosphere? And here we go against Mizzou and damn the torpedoes behind this guy.
Right.
I'm afraid KU's in a little bit of a perilous situation right here. Unless somebody really commands the huddle and really is the difference maker above the other guy. And it doesn't sound like that's the case, but we could all get our eyes open against LIU a week from Friday. And I hope so. Texas says, agreed. QB is a learn by tribulation type of thing. Momentum has a huge factor. Also, neither guy really has started beside Ballard for the KSU game. You got to let these guys figure out the speed of the game, what they're good at, Yeah, I totally agree. And going back to disparaging LIU here for a second, I let one of these guys really spread his wings against LIU. I mean, open up the playbook. Let's see. Whatever your skill set is, and Marshall's a 2-way guy, dual threat quarterback. I mean, not a 2-way guy, but let's see it. Open up the playbook. Don't get vanilla just because or you think you're going to beat them. Let's see what we got when the bullets are really flying, because after LIU, it's going to give a hell of a lot harder against Mizzou and then beyond that. But getting back to the Sharks just a little bit, they play tonight at North Dakota. So 6.5 hours from now, you can watch some LIU Sharks football and get a little sneak preview of what they may or may not look like coming into the booth a week from tomorrow. And we'll see how Kansas approaches the LIU Sharks. Now they've in the past, talking about Kansas now, have had some issues with perceived worse teams and teams from the FCS. It wasn't all that long ago. I forget the exact year. Easton, maybe you remember. Didn't Coastal Carolina come in there and beat them?
Oh man, did they? I can't remember.
Or gave them a great game, one or the other. I don't know if this is before Coastal was good. So forgive me. This is probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah. So in September 10th, 2021, Coastal Carolina beat KU 49-22.
Yikes!
Wow.
Okay, so wasn't all that long ago that KU struggled with bye games, handing people a check and then getting their butts beat too. So anyway, we'll see. I think this is a different Kansas team. I think they're slightly they should be slightly less worried that LIU is going to give them a real good game. But as I mentioned, they have over the years held their own against MAC schools. I'm not accusing KU of being a MAC school, but I think they're closer to a MAC football program than Florida from last year when the Gators beat LIU 55-zip. So in summation, you can check out North Dakota and LIU tonight if you're a KU fan. They're playing this evening in Grand Forks. And then a week from tomorrow, 7 o'clock at the booth, and a game you can hear right here on the channel, you'll have KU and LIU from Lawrence. By the way, spoiler, and I don't mean to talk for him, but I will. Pat's going to be doing his show up from Lawrence next week from Friday, because he's going to the game. So he'll be at the stadium doing the show from up there. And then he's going to go to the game Friday night, watch the LIU game. So beware a little bit, Jayhawk fan. Over the years, they haven't exactly gone out and laid down for the teams they're playing against. Twice have been shut out, but that was on the road to Florida and TCU. Every other game from 2023 on, they've at least put up a few points, and they beat Eastern Michigan 28-23. That was last year. Now, what's Eastern Michigan like, you ask? The Sporting News has ranked all 138 teams. UMass is the worst, by the way. But Eastern Michigan regularly is toward the bottom. They are, in the Sporting News eyes, 117. So it was a low level MAC school that LIU beat last year, 28-23. But we'll see what KU has for them next week. Speaking of, that's one of the games that we'll pick six next Thursday. We got the debut of Pick Six, though, a little bit later on this afternoon. Actually, about 15 minutes from right now, we'll have Pick Six. Unfortunately, we will not have KU or K-State in it. Week 0 has a limited slate, but we'll pick 6 of those games. Plus, we'll pick our wild card. The bonus is Ferris State and Pitt State, 2 Division II powers going at it on opening night in Pittsburgh. It's a defending national champion, Ferris State, ranked number 1 in the country against number 4 Pitt State. Should be a great one. We will pick that one straight up. Won't even put a line on it. Who's going to win? Just pick a winner. That'll be our wild card today, in addition to the other 6. Okay. There you go. There's your preview of LIU. You're welcome. Also this weekend, get ready to relive a summertime classic under the stars. This weekend, all weekend, head to Starlight Drive-In for The Sandlot. It's the movie that brings baseball, friendship, and an unforgettable summer back together again. Grab the fam, load up the car, and make some memories of your own for just $20 a carload. And if you want to go this weekend, text baseball to 316-666-2285. I got a free pass for you. You can load up the car for free and go on us. It's The Sandlot with ESPN Wichita at the Starlight Drive-In. Just text baseball 316-666-2285. And you'll be going to see The Sandlot on us and the Starlight Drive-In. Text baseball 316-666-2285. When we come back, we got the Twitter question to get to. It's National Peach Day. There's your spoiler. It's 12:46. We'll talk Twitter next.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
Sean Tarbell with Davis Moore Chevrolet. Summer's not over, and neither is your shot at a great deal. We've got a massive selection of new Chevys on the lot, and the savings right now are some of the best we've seen all year. Get a 2026 Chevy Traverse with 2.9% APR financing and no payments until November, or save up to $11,000 off MSRP, or get 0% financing for 5 years on a 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab. Together, let's drive at Davis Moore Chevrolet, located under the big American flag at Kellogg and Tyler. Or check us out online at davis-moorechevrolet.com. All offers plus tag, title, tax, and administrative fees Fees expire August 31st, 2026.
What's up, friends? Sean Kellerman here with Kansas Nation. If you're looking for the best KU coverage, come on over to kansasnation.com. Daniel Courtwright and I host Rock Chalk Sports from 4 to 6 daily, and we break down all things KU. We're mere days away from the start of Jayhawk football. Hear from coaches and players, plus get exclusive coverage on the other fall sports, including both top 15 ranked teams, KU volleyball and KU soccer. Also, check out the Haney and the Hawks podcast, where Brian Haney sits down with Zeke Mayo, brought to you by Ameritrust Credit Union. Find us on socials at the Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, Kansas Nation on Facebook. KansasNation.com, your spot for all things KU.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener. Here's Kevin.
Hey,
Jeez.
Culligan, get a smart water softener, lift those heavy salt
I need to do a
bags
better
for
job
me.
of selling around here.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency
Yeah, I had
water
to add a
softener from
couple.
Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to
You
be
what?
replaced, and they'll do it for
I
you.
added a
So your
couple
water
to
stays
this so
soft, and
that we
you
could
stay
have
away
just
from
a little bit of a
bag.
break.
Gotcha.
I could lift them if I wanted.
10 seconds.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Potting you up.
The debut of Pick Six is coming up in about 12 minutes from right now. It'll be Jack Johnson. He'll swing by. He's a busy man today, but he's going to make some time for us. So Jack will be by. Jackson Schneider is out. He is out of pocket today. So we will relay his picks for Pick Six and yours truly. So it'll be me and Jack and Jackson by proxy with his Busch Light picks. On the line at the end of the year. See, here's how we're going to do this. If you're unfamiliar, I'll get to the Twitter question in a second. But if you're unfamiliar with how we do Pick Six, the way you can be involved is when KU and K-State play. And since they're not playing week 0, we'll start it up next week. But I will call for you to text me the team it's going to cover. Okay. So I'll give you the whatever spread it is. For example, it'll probably be LIU and KU next week. Probably what the game is going to be. And last I checked, it was KU by 38, I think. But that's not important right now because we got another week. But if that's the way it is, for example, then you would basically tell me LIU or Kansas who's going to cover. And if you're right, if you're on the right side, if you're on the correct side, 38.5 as of right now, actually. But if you are on the right side, you pick the team that does cover, then you, along with the other people that got it right, will go into our hopper. And at the end of the year, we will ideally have a whole heck of a lot of people to pick from. And we'll draw out a name or a number, as it were. And if it's you, you win a Busch Light cornhole set. It's sweet. We're going to put it up on social here before long. But it's a Busch Light hunter-themed cornhole set with a travel case, too. And it's got the Busch Light logo on it, and there's a big buck deer on it, and it's awesome. When Pat and I first opened it up, very tempted to not say anything and just keep it, but we got a little more couth than that. We'll splurge and share. And then Pat's going to do running the spread starting next week, as he always does. And one lucky winner will get a Kansas City Chiefs Bud Light neon sign again. If you saw it last year, you know, it was a big boy. And it's on top of the, when Pat gets here, we'll feature it a little more. All you can see is my mug if you're streaming the show on Facebook, Twitter, or our YouTube channel. But when Pat gets here and when it's his turn to be on, you'll be able to see it right over his shoulder. It's on top of our Bud Light fridge here in the studio. But 2 great giveaways yet again. If you're the lucky winner at the end of football season, you'll get a Busch Light cornhole set along with a carrying case. And if you on the Pulse are the lucky winner over there, 2 to 4, the KC Bud Light neon sign is up for grabs. So 2 really great prizes for y'all to vie for at the end of the football season, thanks to our good friend Stephen Haynes and our friends at House of Schwan, who hook us up with those things now 3 or 4 years running. So very lucky to have those, and we're thrilled to be setting you guys up for the chance to win them. Also, we will be contacting the lucky people that got in to our fantasy football league. We'll probably be drafting early next week for those of you that weren't at Gillies the other night and in Pat's league. We got 3 other leagues, the ESPN Wichita Listener League, and we'll be drafting probably next Tuesday, Wednesday in there for the other 3 leagues. So if you've been contacted by Pat, just kind of hold steady. He's getting everybody's information and finalizing all that stuff. So we'll be drafting. It'll probably be at either 6 or 7 Central Time PM early next week. So be checking your email or your text for info from Pat on that, on the exactlies on the draft, if you haven't already been involved in one with us. All right. So there's the very latest there. The Twitter question today has to do with peaches, and it's brought to you today by Truck Stuff. And if you want to jazz up your truck just a smidge more, and you also want it to have rugged upgrades if necessito, your one-stop shop for truck accessories, parts, and those upgrades are Truck Stuff. Got bed covers, powerful performance tools, and everything to make your ride tougher and more stylish. Go visit them at 427 North Washington. It's basically on the corner of Washington and Central, or truckstuffks.com for more details. It's National Peach Day. How is a peach best enjoyed? Peach ice cream, peach pie, peach cobbler, or just a fresh peach? Easton, are you team peach?
Yes.
In what way? How would you like it?
I chose peach ice cream only because at Chick-fil-A, it's the best.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
Okay. That's news to me. They have peach ice cream. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have peach ice cream, but it's like a milkshake, though, kind of.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. So it's the best of both worlds.
Okay. Good to know. Good tip.
It's electric.
Peach cobbler is getting 75% of the vote. They're running away with it. Peach cobbler is.
That's what I was going to vote.
How about peach cobbler with a scoop of peach ice cream on top of it?
That would be peachy.
That would be phenomenal. Love me some peaches. And growing up, it was peaches and syrup out of the can, and fruit cocktail featuring some peaches and stuff too. So takes me back to my roots a little bit. All right. So you got plenty of time to vote all day, of course, with it being National Peach Day. So check us out on the Twitter at ESPN Wichita, or X, whatever you want to call it. So far, peach cobbler is running away with it on National Peach Day. Again, it's been announced that KU is named starting quarterback a week and a day ahead of their first game against LIU. LIU taking on North Dakota tonight as the football season starts officially this evening. Week 0 across a few different levels. Again, Isaiah Marshall has been, Texter said, peach crown.
The best. It is the best.
That's dangerous.
That whoever texts that is a legend.
Yes. See if this person is easily identifiable. He or she has jumped into the thread every now and then. It's pitched in. Thank you, Texter. That was text of the day. Isaiah Marshall named starting quarterback for KU. So he's got a day and then the rest of the week to digest that and get ready for LIU. All right. When we return, it is the return of Pick Six. Jack will jump in here. But before we do that, I need to give away some lottery tickets. So text today, okay? Text the word lotto to 316-666-2285 and text the word lotto. And I've got $30 worth of scratchers from the Kansas Lottery. Different texter says, don't call the text line. It's a text line. Text it. Don't call. Texter says, Peach Crown and Mountain Dew will change your life. I might draw the line there. That's a sugary mess right there. Not that I'm Mr. Health, but that, to me, that'd be a lot going on. Peach Crown and Mountain Dew. I have to think about that. But the Peach Crown part makes you an alcoholic diabetic. There you go. Good answer, texter. All right, it's 12:57. Keep the text coming in. Lotto to 316-666-2285. When we come back, Busch Light brings us Pick Six 2026 version. That's coming up next.
The Shane Dennis Show will be right back on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN Radio. It's an interleague showdown at Petco Park.
Toward the bullpen, it is gone. Yordan Alvarez.
Yordan Alvarez and the AL West leading Houston Astros are in San Diego to face Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres.
Unbelievable! Fernando Tatis Jr.
The Astros at the Padres on Sunday Night Baseball. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with first pitch at 8:20 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Turning belief
He's gonna score!
into victories.
And Kansas will win!
Soar with the Jayhawks all season long.
He fumbles the ball. KU's got it. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Kansas.
Join us Friday, September 4th as the Jayhawks start their 2026 campaign against the LIU Sharks in Lawrence on your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. The ESPN Wichita app is available now for both Android and Apple. Go to your app store and download today. All you have to do is search ESPN Wichita and take the station with you wherever you go. While you're there, find podcasts of your favorite shows. Sign up for our app-only contests. Send a text into the show and much more. The ESPN Wichita app, your source for sports in Wichita. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Wichita, your next favorite coffee stop is right here. At Mocha's Coffee and Eatery, enjoy gourmet coffee, fresh pastries, hearty breakfast, and savory lunches, all in a cozy, welcoming space made for your everyday moments. From morning fuel to midday bites, Mocha's fits right into your routine. With 4 locations across Kansas, 2 right here in Wichita, and a 3rd Wichita location coming soon, great coffee and food is never far. Enjoy fresh flavors and shared moments at Mocha's.
Wichita's sports leader. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. KKGQ Newton.
Ah, yes. That sound can mean only one thing. It's the return of Pick Six, brought to you by Busch Light. Whether you're in the woods before sunrise, in the stands on game day, or on the front row with your crew screaming every word at a concert, Busch Light is beer that's always game. And we're giving away a Busch Light cornhole board set with travel case included at the end of the football season. And we are thrilled to do it too. Like I said, Jackson is out today. He has given us his picks. And because he's out, he was unable to witness the glory of unwrapping that 2-piece cornhole board from Busch Light. It's awesome. But we will have it up on social, picture of it here before too long. And also we'll have a picture of the Bud Light Kansas City Chiefs neon sign as well. At some point, I'm pretty sure you guys, if you've been around us and our shows, that you've seen it. You've seen the Kansas City Chiefs Bud Light neon sign. It's gigantic, and it will fit quite well into your cave, your garage, or maybe on your fireplace. Hell, I don't know where you want to have it, but it's awesome. And cross your fingers at the end of the football season. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to win it. Rumor has it Jack Johnson is here to make his picks. Jack, do you read me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
Staying busy?
As best you can.
Yes. Duty calls calling Jack away from us today, but we're hanging in there. But he's good enough to join us here for Pick Six. And as I mentioned, Jackson Schneider will be joining us for the segment most times, but he is out today, and he'll be back live and in studio next week for week 1. All right, here are the games we're going to pick today. It is week 0. There aren't too many of them, but we got pretty much all of them, plus a little bit of a bonus in the Division II clash down in Pittsburgh. We will start with, which I'm sure is a game that's going to pull Jack in two different directions. It's Hawaii and Stanford down on the farm. We'll pick that one. We'll go over to Dublin, Ireland, and pick the North Carolina TCU game. San Jose State is at USC. North Carolina State is at Virginia. New Mexico State, speaking of a bye game, they go to Florida State, take on the Noles in Tallahassee. In Vegas, a game that Jackson is going to attend, he says. Memphis is at UNLV, and the wild card game is just a straight up who's going to win. Ferris State, the Division II defending national champions, or the Pittsburgh State Gorillas down in the jungle in Pitt. That's tonight, actually. You'll just pick a straight up winner. All right, I will go first since it's my show. We'll start with Hawaii at Stanford. Hawaii is getting 5.5, and that's actually, I think, maybe moved. The line is moved a little bit. It's down to 4.5. So, Jack, you okay with a floating line that we move? I know I sent you a number and the total. It's changed.
All good with me.
Okay. Let's go 4.5. All right. Hawaii getting 4.5, and the total is 48.5. I will go first, and I think with the spread going down just a smidge, that will prompt me to take Stanford and the points and lay the 4.5. Jackson Schneider, his pick is the same, Stanford, and he's going to lay the 4.5. You're torn, Jack. I know you are. Who are you going to go with?
Oh, I'm not torn at all. I'll be repping my no, not at all. I got no allegiance to Hawaii other than it being a fun pick. I got allegiance to Stanford, absolutely. I'll be repping my gear this weekend. Might even rep it a little bit on Friday. But I would say this, that in Game 1 of the DeVita Pritchard era, which Andrew Luck in hiring him wanted to get somebody who was familiar with Stanford, young offensive coach coming from the NFL, and player retention was a big part of this.
Yeah.
And all of Stanford's defense is actually returning. Now, what that means, I guess we'll find out, because I remember a number of years pre-NIL era, you could be happy about player retention, but it doesn't mean you're keeping great players.
Right.
On the offensive side of things, though, it should be a pretty run-heavy team. You bring back Micah Ford, who was really the only bright spot of that offense. They won a couple of those games late in the season due to their defense, actually, which is why you should be a little bit more high on them. They bring in 2 transfer wide receivers, one of them coming from Yale and Nico Brown. Quarterback is going to be a transfer quarterback as well. Their room got wiped out last year. But I will say this, and Tavita Pritchard, being a quarterback himself at Stanford, always kind of good to have that type of mind to work with the new quarterback coming in Warren Davis. So I actually do like Stanford here. This is going to be on the farm. Last year they were on the Rock, of course, and Stanford led the majority of that game and then just collapsed in it. And I actually think that there is a little bit more support for the Stanford program because you have such a young coach that's committed to the school. And it really in year one is the focus about making sure that each week you're building just more and more competition. It ain't going to get easier in week one because they have Miami, of course. But it would be nice to start off 1-0. I'll go with my Cardinal to take down the Rainbow Warriors.
Okay, clean sweep. Would it surprise you to know, though, that Hawaii was 36th in the country in scoring last year? Averaged 29.5 points a game. So
it doesn't, because they really were good last year.
They were kind of good. You're right. Yeah. And they're supposed to.
They crawled out of the basement.
They're supposed to win about 7 games this year. So don't be surprised to see them playing in their own bowl later on. All right. Second game is the one in Dublin. Jack, you can go first here. It's North Carolina catching 7.5 against TCU. The total is 47.5, and it's the first game of the rest of Bill Belichick's coaching life in some ways. Paul Feinbaum thinks he's not going to even last the season. I won't get ahead of myself too far on that, but what do you think about this game between North Carolina and TCU? 7.5, 47.5 total.
Yeah, I mean, we know North Carolina is a joke with Bill Belichick there. And it, as I've said multiple times in the show, it brings me such joy to see a titan of the football industry just turn into a laughing stock to close out his collegiate career or his coaching career. But here's the tricky part about games in Dublin. They almost never go the way you expect them to. They're always close. There's a ton of upsets. And at 7.5 spread or 7-point spread is to bait you a little bit. TCU is the much better football team. TCU could be a top 5 team in the Big 12 this year, maybe even top 4. But when you are playing overseas, there's a lot you have to factor in. You're playing in a weirder stadium. You're playing on weirder turf. And it's your first game of the year. You're starting earlier than everybody else. You might be a bit jet lagged. We saw K-State, Iowa State last year. That game was odd. It was Georgia Tech and Florida State when Georgia Tech pulled off the upset. This should actually be a barn burner. It's probably going to be low scoring. I would say that on a neutral site field in the States, TCU beats them by 3 scores, I would say. But I actually will take Carolina in the cover here. Going to be a bit of an ugly game. Going to be a slower start in this one. And I'm hoping it's going to be close, because why else would I watch this game between TCU and North Carolina? I would only watch it to watch Bill Belichick get humiliated.
Exactly.
Want to see him get absolutely blown out again. TCU is the much better team, but Dublin's a weird place to play a football game, an American football game. Give me the Tar Heels to cover that.
That's gutsy right there. I'm going to go under, because I do agree with you. I think that it'll be more defensive than offensive. North Carolina wasn't very good offensively last year anyway, and all the reasons Jack just said, first game overseas, all that. I will go 47.5 and take the under of that. And Jackson is laying it with TCU. He thinks TCU will cover. So there you go on the Dublin game. Jack, you go first here. San Jose State at USC. That is Saturday at 2:00. And USC is laying 38.5, and the total is 59.5. Who you got?
I usually don't like to pick those big spreads just because it feels like such a trap. Sometimes you say, man, that's a large spread, and when they're going to pull the starters, they're going to be able to backdoor cover. But last year, I think I learned my lesson. There were a lot of games with that 38-point spread, 45-point spread, 50-point spread, and they said, there's just no way they're going to pull their starters out by halftime. Well, the backups are still better than the starters of the team they're playing here. I'm more so focused on USC's defense here. I'm sure they can keep San Jose State under 10. Even if they are pulling everybody by halftime, they should be able to continue to run up that score. I'm going to go with the Trojans to cover, probably winning somewhere between 45 and 48 points in this one.
The Sporting News has San Jose State ranked 112th of 136 FBS teams. So they're way down there. I like where your head's at, but in a game where the total is 59.5, I was this way with Missouri State last year, the USC Missouri State game. I took the total, took over, because I think USC can almost do it all by themselves. I wouldn't be a bit surprised they score 50. And if that's the case, they only score 50. San Jose State would only have to score 10. So I'll go over 59.5. I'll take the total and go over USC. Okay, Jackson's also taking the over. So he and I have gone over, and Jack is laying the 38.5. All right, the next one, I'll go first. NC State catching 5.5 against Virginia. That total is 53. I'll take those points. NC State, I've got on good authority that NC State's going to be better than people think this year. So I will take the 5.5 that I'm getting. That game's in Charlottesville, and that's at 2:30 on ESPN. Jackson Schneider, he takes Virginia. So he's laying it with UVA minus 5.5. Jack, what say you?
Yeah, I'm rolling with your pick as well. NC State is a team that, I think quietly over the last couple of years have built a pretty respectable program. And I want to say last time I checked, they did bring back a lot of talent from last year. And Virginia, though their memorable game last year was that stunning upset right at the buzzer in overtime. That was like in week 3 or week 4, if I'm thinking of the game, and I'm pretty sure it was Virginia. But NC State, whatever you said about the on good authority that they're going to be a little bit better, I know exactly who you're talking about, and he's got a pretty good record. So I think I'm going to go with NC State as well.
All right, 2 of us take NC State, and Jackson lays it with Virginia. The next one is New Mexico State, and their bye game going to Tallahassee, take on Florida State. Jackson will go first. He's going to take the points and go with New Mexico State and grab the 31.5. Going back to the sporting news, ranking the 138 Division I teams. New Mexico State, just for fodder here, Jack, they're ranked 129, actually even a little bit worse than San Jose State. So is that enough points for you to take New Mexico State? Are you going to lay it with Florida State, or the total is 53.5?
Because I'm in such a good mood about pick 6 being back, I'm going to give you a hot take along with my pick.
Okay.
Mike Norvell is not going to finish the season.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who lasts longer, him or Bill Belichick? Belichick lasts longer?
Man. I think Belichick lasts longer just because I don't think North Carolina will care as much as Florida State does. I mean, it's been ugly now for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to wonder with Belichick, like his might just be a step down. Like I doubt they'd fire him and be like, you know what? Why don't you?
I think he'll do just well enough that they won't fire him this year.
Yeah, and then he'll step down.
Yeah,
there probably is some handshake agreement to avoid a humiliation of being fired a year and a half into your coaching tenure at North Carolina. We'll just let you finish it out because how much better are we really going to be without you? No, I think Norvell gets fired first. But I will say this about the rankings there of Florida State might start decently well, but they've got SMU in week 1, I believe it is. And SMU, we can't call them a sleeper team. They've been a pretty good test for everybody over the last handful of years. But New Mexico State's horrible. As you said, 129 out of 130 something. Listen to those rankings. Those are the ones you got to pay attention to in spreads like this. You get them in that 95 territory, 97, maybe you can hear them out a little bit more. New Mexico State.
When you're in the hundreds, you're bad.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's Tallahassee. No, I'm not going to take them to cover. This should be a dominant win for the Seminoles, but there's not going to be many of those this year.
New Mexico State averaged, if you're into this, 21.8 points per game last year. That was 100th in the country. Can they put 20 on the board against Florida State? Doubt it, but I do think they're going to score a couple of times and go over the 53.5. So Jackson's taking the points. Jack's laying it, and I'm going over 53.5. The game that Jackson is allegedly going to, Memphis at UNLV. Memphis catching 5.5. UNLV is the favorite, and the total is 57.5. Speaking of scoring points, UNLV is 15th in the country last year in points per game at 33.8, and they averaged 36.6 points per game at home. I love taking the overs in UNLV games. I love taking overs anyway, but I think this game easily ends up in the 60s. Memphis is top 20 last year in scoring, and UNLV was 15th. So if you add all that up, I think that sails over 57.5. I don't have any problem with that. I'll take the over 57.5. Jack, who you got?
Yeah, over sounds good with this one. It's a late night kick, 9 p.m. Memphis is going to be able to light up the scoreboard this year. I was kind of surprised that Noland, I believe, lost that quarterback battle. That really surprised me. I thought that was going to be a runaway going into fall camp. Not the case. Still, when you make that decision, as we saw with the Isaiah Marshall, Cole Ballard situation, when your quote-unquote backup just plays that much better than the guy that everybody thought was going to start, clearly the coaching staff has their mind set on having a pretty tough-to-stop offense. Like, this guy fits our offense better than maybe the guy everybody was saying was going to fit the offense better. I'm pretty high on Memphis. I believe Memphis is going to be anywhere from a 9 to 10 win team this year. And UNLV, we've known this for quite some time in doing this segment of Pick Six. They are an offensive juggernaut.
Yep.
They can light it up. But when you got two teams that love to light it up, they don't give one rip about defense. I think the over is going to sail here and should be a blast to watch. That one's going to be on Fox, too.
Yeah, and Jackson, his rationale is very simple. Over 56.5, I can't bet an under on a game I'm going to. And that's a quote. And I don't blame him. Final one, this is the wild card, straight up winner. Ferris State, Division II national championship last year. National champion, I should say. Going into the Jungle, Carney Smith Stadium in Pittsburgh to take on Pitt State. It's number 1 versus number 4. That game is tonight. I would love to be able to go watch that game. That is going to be a great one. It's going to be nuts. Jackson takes Pitt State. Jack, it's pretty much coin flip. It's number 1 versus number 4, and the lower ranked team has got them at home. So who do you think wins, Ferris State or Pitt State?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen my fair share of games there. I knew a lot of buddies that went and played football at Pitt State, and as long as I've been alive, they've been a powerhouse. And they usually open up their season against national champions.
Yeah, they do.
If they weren't the national champion, that's usually who's week 1 for them, or week 0, I guess it would be called. What I love about Pittsburgh is when you drive through it, and I've driven through it many times. I've visited there more than a handful of times. It is that, and I mean this in the best possible way, it's like the high school football town.
Yeah, it is.
Where Pitt State Gorilla football, big deal. That place is packed. It's a cool stadium.
They tailgate their asses off there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and as you said, it's the Jungle, man. And they almost always win games like this. I'll tell you right now, I don't know a single player on that team. I don't know anything about them, but I'm not going against tradition. These are the games that you look up the score, and it's, man, Pitt State beat them by 20 or 25 points. They are always ready for these games. Going into the Jungle, pretty much nobody makes it out alive. Give me Pitt State.
You know, they've played each of the last 3 years, I think it is. They lost at Ferris 31-17, and I think they won in the Jungle like 3 years ago, like 22-3 or something like that. Just to be contrarian, I'll go Ferris State, but I do think it's going to be close. And like I said, I wish I was going to be there. Jack, welcome back. Appreciate you dropping by. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Have a good day.
Oh, sounds good. Finish out the show strong.
All right, we'll do. That's Pick Six, brought to you by Busch Light. So starting next week, y'all, we will involve you because that's when KU and K-State will get it cranked up. And so I'll already warn you. It'll probably be, not warn you, but give you a heads up. It'll probably be the LIU-KU game. And what I will do next Thursday is ask for you to text me who's going to be on the right side of that LIU and KU spread, which is going to be about 5 touchdowns, it looks like. But here's how it works. You just text either LIU, and don't do it now, either text LIU or KU, who you think is going to cover. That's basically how that goes. And if you're right, the team that you go with actually does cover, then you will go into the drawing along with all the other correct predictors to win that Busch Light cornhole set and carrying case at the end of the football season. So brush up, get ready, maybe watch them tonight against North Dakota, and come next Thursday, we'll get you involved and you'll be able to show your chops on who you think is going to cover in KU, K-State, or other selected games that we have along the way. Thanks to our good friends at Busch Light for making that possible, and Pick Six is back. When we return, talk a little baseball. Jamie Bluma is going to join us, courtesy of CBD American Shaman, Wichita and Derby. Old James joins on the phone next.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
Get ready
All right,
for
get 'em.
takeoff.
Okay,
Your
bud.
taste buds are in for a ride at Tanker Barbecue. From fall-off-the-bone ribs to juicy brisket and house-made sides, they're serving food with big flavor and slow-smoked to perfection. And they have mouth-watering specials like bone-in pork chops on Tuesday, wings on Wednesday, Chicago-style hot beef sandwiches on Thursday, meatloaf on Friday, and half-pound smoked cheeseburgers on Saturday. Find them at 620 West Maple, open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 until 7.
Sean Tarbell with Davis Moore Chevrolet. Summer's not over, and neither is your shot at a great deal. We've got a massive selection of new Chevys on the lot, and the savings right now are some of the best we've seen all year. Get a 2026 Chevy Traverse with 2.9% APR financing and no payments until November, or save up to $11,000 off MSRP, or get 0% financing for 5 years on a 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab. Together, let's drive at Davis Moore Chevrolet, located under the big American flag at Kellogg and Tyler. Or check us out online at davis-moorechevrolet.com. Tag title tax administrative fees expire August 31st, 2026.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Why do winners play at Seven Plans Casinos? The numbers don't lie. From Wichita to Texas, Seven Plans has the only certified loose casinos, as verified by Strictly Slots Magazine. That's why winners play here. Plus, use your Seven Plans rewards card for even more perks and offers. It's official. Seven Clans Casinos have the area's own certified loose slot.
Big news, Kansas. Four Seasons RV has opened a brand new location in Andover. Your trusted RV dealer from Abilene is now even closer to Wichita families ready for their next adventure. Whether you're dreaming of weekend lake trips or cross-country road journeys, Four Seasons RV has the travel trailers and fifth wheels to get you there. Come celebrate the new Andover location of Four Seasons RV and start your next adventure today. ESPN Wichita listeners can save $500 if they mention ESPN. Four Seasons RV, your Kansas family-owned RV dealership.
Turning belief
He's gonna score!
into victories.
And Kansas will win!
Soar with the Jayhawks all season long.
He fumbles the ball. KU's got it. 15-10-5. Touchdown, Kansas.
Join us Friday, September 4th as the Jayhawks start the 2026 campaign against the LIU Sharks in Lawrence on your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Jamie Bluma joining us right now, brought to you by American Shaman Wichita, American Shaman Derby. Check out Jeff and the gang at either location. Life is better with the feather. Jamie joining us as he does every Thursday. And unfortunately, James, the Royals couldn't pull one out last night, so we'd have a 10-game winning streak to talk about. But in the midst of it, they look like a pretty complete team. 6 runs per game over the life of that streak. Team ERA right around 3.30. And I was talking about this to Jack the other day. It seemed to me like there was always one game to the next. All of their high leverage guys were available. You know what I mean? There was never a time where a starter faltered and it was 6-6 and they had to burn up all their guys. And then tomorrow it was like, what are we going to do? Starters did their jobs. And when the high leverage guys came in, it seemed like they all threw 10 pitches or less. And then, so you're doing the mental gymnastics and saying, man, it seems like we can go to this guy again tomorrow if we need to go to him. And it kind of just dominoed all the way through. And I don't think that's any accident that they won 9 in a row with that process, right?
Well, no, that's exactly why they won 9 in a row, because when you start going through stretches like that, when your starting pitching does enough for you, that you don't have to burn up your bullpen. That's how you can get your high leverage guys, not every single night. And you need more than just one high leverage guy, and we seem to have that a little bit more lately with Pearson and with Cruz and with Lang doing some stuff, and Schreiber's been there, obviously for the last couple of years. So when those guys are doing their job and the offense is doing enough to keep us in games. I laughed yesterday. I saw somebody blowing up the Royals. The reason that they lost last night and didn't get their 10th win in a row is because Q did not have them take batting practice.
Oh my
yesterday.
God.
I just laughed out loud like, man, you can't just be happy they won 9 out of 10.
No kidding.
And I can assure you it's not because of that. But no, I mean, what I think about that 9-game winning streak is what if, what could we have done early in the season when we had some of those terrible late losses? I mean, if we just turn around 5 or 6 of those games into wins,
and we're talking about games, Jamie, that they had like a 90% chance to win.
Won.
Yeah.
Yes. Not games that we thought were in the bag that were just gut-wrenching losses, and you win 5 of those. And it's a whole different ball game. This, with the way the American League's been just in mediocrity.
If they would have won 5 of them, their record would be 64-70 right now. They'd be right there.
and so even last, Tuesday, I was like, hey, great. We have a 9-game winning streak. When we win 6 more in a row, now you can start talking. And that's it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that. Any team on any year. Obviously, the Royals hadn't won 9 in a row since 2017. It's just hard to do that because inevitably you're going to run into a starting pitcher from another team that has a good day, or, Blue Jays yesterday did, Johnny Holstaff.
Yep.
And sometimes that's one of the toughest things to face because you don't ever see a guy twice in a row. And it's hard to guys to adjust like that. And just like a whole bunch of people say, that every time that a reliever comes out of the pen, the chances of somebody not having a great day are more of a possibility. But the Blue Jays guys, all did a pretty good job yesterday.
I'm sure we've talked about this already because he's forced us to. But Noah Cameron, what he has done for himself and for the team, as it turns out, has been nothing short of remarkable. And I don't think it can be overstated that a guy in the second year of his career, he was in the midst of a really bad stretch. You remember that Padre game that San Diego ended up winning like 19-3? You talk about a dark day in 2026 Royals history. That was it. And he started that game and ended up by the time the day was over, he had an ERA of 5.27, and he probably thought he was at a crossroads in his career, don't you think? He's coming off a 2.99 ERA as a rookie, and now he can't get anybody out. Take us in between his ears, if you would. It's been smooth sailing ever since, but that's a feather in his cap that he's turned it around.
Well, I'm going to give him a whole lot of credit for 2 things. One, he realized, and I think he even said it publicly, like, I would probably be in AAA if we didn't have all these people in our rotation hurt. So he understood that. And so at that point, you got to make some changes. And the second thing is, hey, man, he made changes and they worked. That's the thing that makes the most impressive. A lot of people can make changes, and if those changes don't work, we're in the same boat. But he changed it. He started calling his own pitches, doing whatever he was doing, completely different. There was some talk earlier in the season about his arm angle and all the metrics that you hear about. Whatever those changes were, and whatever he's done, obviously it's been successful. So one, to realize, man, I probably shouldn't even be here, so I need to do something. And 2, be able to make changes to continue to be successful. And now he's solidified him, a slot again for next year. I know he's still got a little bit over a 4, but the way he's thrown the rest of the year, I mean, this was reminiscent of what he did for us last year. So, he's a guy that's got to pitch in the truest sense of the word. He doesn't have 98, 99 or any of that stuff in there. So him being able to change it up and mix it up and never, settle into patterns and stuff like that is what's been impressive to watch. And what a great staff to be able to do that with Seth Lugo and Michael Waka, because those guys have to do the same kind of thing. So for Noah Cameron to be such a young guy and to be able to soak some of that stuff in with about how those guys go about their business, man, 2 thumbs up. Not only for him, but because he's a Kansas City kid too, to be able to do that in the town that you grew up rooting for.
Yeah.
And you've locked yourself into the rotation again for next year.
Can we also underline and italicize and bold how tough it is, you can speak to this, to change. You talked about changing things, and it works for Cameron at the big league level. Like the mental fortitude it takes to realize, hitter or pitcher, what I'm doing isn't working, so I need to change. Throughout your entire life, these guys have probably not had to change anything. That has served them well enough to get them to a certain level. But as we all know, the big leagues is the toughest level on the planet. And those guys are good too. And they get paid to try too. And so when you have to change something about the way you're going about your business, explain how tough that is mentally to trust the process at the big league level. I don't think I can put it into words because I've never been in the big leagues. I got close, but I can understand and appreciate the fact that you are being forced to do something different to try to achieve some success at the big league level against the best players in the world.
Well, the hardest thing in there is trying to figure out what change to make, because what if you pick something that doesn't work? And it's kind of a double-edged sword. All right, we're gonna try this change and see if this actually works. In my mind, or in Noah Cameron's mind, let's try this change, and then hitters are going to let you know whether that change
That's true.
is actually going to be successful or not be successful. You don't know that. In theory, okay, I can make this with all the slow speed camera, fast speed cameras, and all that kind of stuff. You can make some adjustments that we've never been able to make before to change pitch shapes and do all that kind of stuff. So he has that, level of information at his disposal, but maybe that wasn't around 20 years ago. But that doesn't mean all of a sudden, because you do that, it's automatically going to get hitters out. And you got to continue to figure that out. So, I can't even speak to that just because maybe I needed to do a better job of throwing a changeup, but man, trying to throw a changeup more often at the big league level is not the funnest place to try to do anything.
Right.
And hitters will know right off. Well, and he had immediate results. Maybe that's the thing that gave him the confidence with what he was struggling with, was he made that change and immediately had some success with calling his own pitches. And boy, isn't it amazing what happens when you start throwing the baseball with confidence? And we've spoken about this on this show because of Brent Kemnitz, and you take 85, and we talked about it last week. When you start going out there and pitching, with your hair on fire and having a little bit of confidence, you're going to get more outs than when you're going out there with your tail between your legs and wondering whether you're going to get hit or not. And if this actual adjustment that I'm making is going to work. And he's just taken it and run with it and really done an amazing job the last half of the season.
I'm going to ask you a final question before I let you go. Ask you about a position player. We don't talk about hitters too often, but one guy that I think is worth some conversation, I hope he's okay and is back in the lineup fairly soon and is able to finish strong. But if he does, the conversation about Michael Massey, I think, will be an interesting one, because you think back opening day, which seems like a long time ago now, it was basically him and Jonathan India. Of course, India got hurt fairly quick, and Massey has been depended upon pretty much on an everyday basis. Every once in a while, Tolbert will play over there, or Lofton will play over there now and then. But he's playing himself into the everyday conversation. And it also, we talk about Noah Cameron kind of turning his season around. It was a couple of months ago that Michael Massey was barely hitting his weight, and now he's in the 270s. And you know how hard it is at this point in the season to raise your batting average that much, kind of like Noah Cameron, to be able to shave a run off of his ERA. You got to pitch your butt off to do that. And Massey's hit his butt off to get to where he is right now. I'm leaning more and more toward, and I was worried about his health with his back. He banged his head on the ground in Toronto a couple of days ago, but assuming he's okay there, I think he's working his way into the, second base might be a set it and forget it position. I don't know if we're there yet, but we're close.
Well, that's where I wanted to be with him for the last couple of years. I know a little bit of his family up in Chicago that I've, been a chance to be around with a golf tournament that I do up there. And you've always hoped that this was going to happen. And I'll kind of put him in the same boat as Noah Cameron. Like, he probably was like, man, do I even deserve to be here at this point? And it's, thank God that India got hurt, or I wouldn't be getting the opportunity that I'm getting to, and then, start making adjustments and hitting for power and doing all the things. The thing that I think about it, I think he's finally healthy, 100% healthy. and those back issues have gone away. I mean, I know it's whatever it is, August 28th. Nobody's 100% at this point because it's a long season and things like that. But for a guy like him that has spent as much time as he has on the DL and trying to figure it out, I mean, I think your body's feeling good every single day going down the stretch. You see what he can do. Now, everybody says take a look at the back of the baseball card and you see what you're going to get. Man, he's not that point in his career where he can rely on those type of things. He's got to continue to go out and do what he does this year. And I mean, there's a guy I want to pencil in next year. Let's take a look at what we're going to do with our outfield. I don't want to worry about second base anymore and figure out what we're going to do because, man, this lineup that we're throwing together right now, you know, with all of our pieces, minus Michael Garcia, because he's whatever he's going to be. We can talk about him in another time.
Yeah.
You know, I like this lineup looking forward to next year if we do supplement it with somebody in the outfield.
And the more, and I don't think the outfield is going to iron itself out because I think Isaac Collins is what he is. And that's, to me, not good enough, but that's a story for another day. But the more of those position players that become if Garcia hadn't popped his hamstring, I think he would be in this category too. You would add him, you'd add Bobby, you had Massey, Vinny's on the road back. Those are a bunch of position players you don't have to worry about. And maybe they're not a perfect 9, but the more you can concentrate on fixing that bullpen and shoring up that rotation, the better off you're going to be without having to worry about overhauling the entire offense. I think they're closer than they were a month ago, don't you?
Oh, and I think we're with Vinny doing what he's doing and Massey doing what he's doing. I mean, we're better, obviously, than we were at the start of the year. And now you can see what this team can do. Even though we're missing some of our starting pitching, we've had some guys really step up. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we were hoping to see starting at the end of March and the beginning of April. Man, if we would have just been able to, you know, put those pieces together. I remember talking about Bobby Witt Jr.'s been on base 30 times and he scored 1 run.
Right.
Because Vinny couldn't drive him in or doing what we were doing. I mean, those things, we're doing those things now. I mean, I know sometimes too little, too late, but I would rather that happen at all than never happen because at least we can kind of look toward, hey, this is what we envisioned at the beginning of the season. Now let's think about, let's try to envision that again for the beginning of 2027.
I lied. That wasn't the last question. This is. How about Randy Dobnak? That guy's a pro's pro. You talk about 9-game winning streak. That doesn't happen if Dobnak's not in the middle of it.
You know what? I loved it. I said it, I think, when I was on Steven's show on Tuesday. Like, I feel like that guy fell out of a duck blind in Minnesota and just started pitching. And I love guys like that go out there and can, you know, mix it up and change it up. And he doesn't fit the mold of whatever we talk about. And he's able to do it at the big league level. There's no accident now that he's been doing it for long enough. I know he gave up a 3-run home run yesterday, but still kept us in the game and got a quality start. I mean, that's the things you have to have happen during the course of the season. You have to have people surprise you. And he's a guy that's put himself clearly in the mix for next year. Depending on what we do with starting pitchers. He's not a number 1, but I said that again the other day too. How many number 1s really are there in the major leagues right now? There's not that many. Not every
and
single
whoever
team
the
has
Royals number 1 becomes, Jamie, I'm convinced is kind of not really a number 1. Like if it's Casey Mize, okay, that's the Royals number 1, but he's not a number 1, but that's what we're left with.
No, you got to have 3 or 4 number 3s.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're going to end up with. You're not going to have 2 number 1s are hard to find, and they cost $30, $40, $50 million a year,
Right.
and we're not going to go buy one either. So, good. And on that note, too, I'm actually down here at Joe's next door. So I just saw Steven St.
nice.
John, Todd Lebo, Deebs, Scott Carroll, myself. We just had lunch down here, and I stepped outside to do the show with you guys, and they said, well, tell everybody in Wichita hello.
And
so,
back at
again.
you. Tell them hello, and I will let you go. We're finally done.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
There he goes. Jamie Bluma joining us, courtesy of CBD American Shaman. A reminder, Pat Strathman and myself, he's coming up here in a little while. We're going to be at the Kansas State Fair on Friday, September the 18th. So all you Chiefs fans, wear your red and celebrate Kansas Lottery's Chiefs Red Friday, September the 18th. You just show your Play On app at the gate and you get in for only $5. And if you're not a member, shame on you. Join for free at kslottery.com and get in on the deal. Friday, September 18th is when we're going to be at the fair. All right, it's 1:41. We come back. I'm old. Easton's young. Next.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Go home, The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. Right now, Hog Wild is serving up a $5.99 meal that's big on flavor and easy on your wallet. Get a one-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side, and a drink, all for just $5.99. Want brisket? Upgrade to our tender slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Pulled pork, juicy chicken, and hot links. Everything is smoked fresh, made daily, and piled high. This is real barbecue at a price that's hard to beat. When you want big flavor and a big deal, head to Hog Wild for the $5.99 meal deal today. Great food, great price, great barbecue. Join us for lunch or dinner, or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 6 locations in Wichita, also in Derby, El Dorado, Hutchinson, and Salina.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you. But don't be late, we close at 8. Tricked out, check us out, Truck Stuff.
You've probably already heard that Truck Stuff is the place to go to lift, level, or lower your truck. And of course, we have an enormous in-stock selection of bed covers, running boards, and floor mats. But did you know that we do wheels and tires, gear swaps, and spray and bed liners? Stop by today to deck out your ride at Truck Stuff at the corner of Central and Washington.
Tricked out, check us out, Truck Stuff.
Every school pickup line has a main character. Most days, it's the kids. But once a year, a parent pulls up in a brand new Kia Telluride, and suddenly all eyes are on mom.
Is that the new one? I heard it comes in a hybrid now. I heard it has heated seats in all 3 rows.
This August, let that parent be you, because mom deserves to shine too. Big savings on great vehicles for that main character energy, only at Midwest Kia.
We want to see ya in a Midwest Kia.
The future stars of women's golf are returning to the birthplace of the LPGA for the 5th year in a row. Golfers from the Annika Women's All-Pro Tour are set to head to Wichita for the 2026 Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces at Rolling Hills Country Club September 8th through the 13th. Interact with the golfers by being a part of the Pro-Am or bring the kids for the free Junior Pro-Am and the Kids Golf Clinic. Mark your calendars for September 8th to the 13th for the Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces.
Your Kansas State Fair tickets are waiting at Dillon's. Now through September 10th, save 30% on gate admission when you buy advance tickets at any Kansas Dillon store or online at kansasstatefair.gov. Then celebrate America's 250th, the Kansas way. So grab a friend, bring the family, and make your way to Hutchinson for some Kansas America fun at the Kansas State Fair. September 11th through the 20th in Hutchinson.
The Surge are home this week at Equity Bank Park, hosting the Arkansas Travelers. Tonight, 6:30, Turbo Tubs Thirsty Thursday with discounted drinks. Friday brings post-game fireworks and Pop Star Night. Saturday, it's Party Night at the ballpark with a Wind Surge hockey jersey giveaway, a Shooter McGavin appearance, and much more. Sunday, Kids Day at the ballpark. Join the fun and get your tickets at windsurge.com and listen to the game tonight at 6:30 on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
You spin my head right round when you go down, when you go down. You spin my head right round when you go down, when you go down.
I'm old, Easton's young. 145. Pat is here as promised. Pulse coming up in about 17 minutes.
How many times have you had this person? I feel like a million.
Really?
A million. I feel like you've had him.
This is at the end of the hangover. I know that.
Like once every 2 months, I feel like this guy pops up. I don't know why. It just feels that way.
He's in Kansas City.
So that's the reasoning behind it for Easton then.
He is or was? What did you just say?
He was in Kansas City for the World Cup rally show.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a big hint.
I don't think I needed that one. The one you gave me probably is going to throw it for me.
In terms of you've had this person a million times?
When you first said it, didn't register, but the more you kept babbling, I was like, I think I do know who this is actually.
Yeah.
And you're kind of right. I've had him multiple times.
You've had him a million times, I feel like, which
And
is fine.
Don't you agree? This is your head goes to the very end of The Hangover. Like this.
Yes.
This is the song when the credits come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you think they pulled Stu's tooth? I often wonder.
It's one of the things you think about.
It is.
As well as did Caesar actually stay there?
Mm-hmm.
Carlos.
How Doug ended up on the roof?
Not at the table, Carlos. Not at the table.
Not at the table, Carlos.
What you talking about, Willis? He Doug.
Oh, man.
March is going to be pissed at me on that one.
Oh.
There you go again, Rooflin.
That word. A drug dealer doesn't know what rooflin means?
I know.
All right. Is this Florida?
This is.
All
I
right.
need to go even harder next time.
You do whatever you want. Is this featuring anyone?
Yes, is this actually featuring someone?
Who is it?
Kesha.
Oh, I was going to say I won't know who it is, but that's not true. I know who Kesha is.
TikTok.
Yeah. She's easy on the eyes, too, if you know what I mean. If you're into that. Okay. Here we go. Off and running.
Great stuff.
Great start indeed. It's August 27th. Man, we got one more work day, and then we're to fall practically.
Pretty much.
I dig it, though.
I hope that the weather would reflect that. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be nice if we'd. Now I'm sounding old. Ready for the fall, ready for it not to be hot, but damn.
Well,
100 degrees at the end of August? It's a little much.
Fall is really delightful.
Haven't we gone like 33 days? Have you see that one?
Oh, I don't know.
90 degrees or more? 33 consecutive days. I think that's true.
You're more locked into weather than I am.
I am.
So I couldn't tell you, but I am a fan of quarter zip season, and we're almost there. So give me quarter zip season, please. That'd be wonderful.
For the win.
For the win.
Turning 25 today, Easton, Franz Wagner.
Is it, oh God, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Mute him.
Oh.
You have the button.
No, that's true. I do. I could.
I'm going to say golfer?
No, it's Big Four. So guess again.
Baseball.
No, he's a basketball player. Didn't he go to Michigan? The Michigan guy? Yeah. He plays for the Magic.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I remember old Franz. Got drafted by the Magic.
All rookie, 2022, it says here.
Mm-hmm.
Over there with Paulo.
Yeah. Paulo's a pretty good basketball player. Brianna Stewart, 32.
Basketball.
There you go.
That a boy.
Anything else? Any more details you'd care to share?
WNBA basketball player.
Yeah.
NCAA champion.
Okay, there you go. UConn. Yes, very good.
Yeah. Yep.
Also celebrating birthday today, Jose Vidro, 52.
Jose.
Yeah, Jose Vidro, born in Puerto Rico.
That's got to be baseball.
That's right. Former Mariner, second baseman. Very good hitter.
He won the Silver Slugger, right?
He did.
Nice.
3-time All-Star, Dave. One of the few former Montreal Expos.
R.I.P.
I know. Jim Thome, 56.
Is that another baseball?
Oh my God!
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, Easton.
Oh man,
he hit about 1 million home runs.
You know, when we were at the Baseball Hall of Fame when I was like a teenager, that's the guy that my dad like emphasized. So that just came like
That Thome needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Or that,
Yeah.
hey, you should know this dude.
Yes.
Yeah. Told me I want to say he get over 600?
Ooh.
He ended up playing for a long time.
Surely he did.
Play for the Dodgers at the end.
612.
Ew, man, that's a bunch of home runs.
612 homers.
Look like the brawny paper towel guy. Just a big donkey.
5-time All-Star. Yeah, he was a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
Really big dude.
Pride of Peoria, Illinois.
1,699 RBI. Career batting average of 276.
That's not bad either, by the way. 276 for a guy who hit a bunch of bombs. That's all right. Good for him. Michael Dean Perry, 61.
Michael Dean Perry?
Yeah, he had a really famous brother. There's a hint. Really famous brother with a really cool nickname.
What's his brother? Or I guess, yeah, what's his brother's name?
William. The refrigerator.
Oh, that's football.
Perry.
Football.
There we go. Yes.
Football, yeah. Football.
Michael Dean was a pretty good player himself, actually. Born in Aiken, South Carolina. Should ask Zach that one.
Yeah,
Mike
he would own that.
Yeah, I bet he would. Mike Maddox, 65. He has a really famous brother, too.
Oh, gosh.
He doesn't have a nickname. Well, yeah, I guess he does.
What's his brother famous for?
Pitching a baseball.
It's baseball.
Mike Maddox is a longtime pitching coach. I promise you'd recognize him if you saw him.
Yeah,
he was a PC with the Rangers forever.
I feel like I'm doing quite well.
Oh, do you? I'm glad you think that.
Yeah,
Mike Maddox actually played Major League Baseball. He was a pitcher of some fame, but Greg kind of stole the show. So,
ever heard of Greg Maddox?
Yeah, that's his brother. Yeah, that's my brother. Bernhard Longer, non-Big Four.
That is
He's
the golfer.
That's right. He's a very good golfer.
Yeah.
Boy, you have a tough time remembering Maddox, and yet no hesitation on that one.
I nailed the golfer.
Yep, when Grandpa's watching the Masters when I'm a kid, he will always mention him.
Fair. And he won it twice, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Texter just wondered, didn't Mike Maddox just get fired? I don't know about that.
Let me look.
We'll get on that.
Oh, man.
Let me go over the news.
But
yeah, he did 2 weeks ago. Angels fire pitching coach
Angels.
Mike Maddox.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give somebody else a chance.
Good job, Texter.
Mike. Yeah. Buddy Bell, 75.
Baseball.
Good.
That's baseball.
Anything else?
Nothing else. I know he's.
He was
baseball
famous for saying, what was he famous for saying? He was former Royals manager. And he said something like, just when it seemed like things can't get any worse, ... He managed in a pretty dark time with the Royals. Very good player. All-star, Cleveland, Texas. Don't say it can't get worse, I think is basically what Buddy Bell was known for saying.
Gotcha.
Is that what you want? Is that what you want your manager to say?
Yeah, it can't get any worse. Imagine Q saying that in the next press conference. It can't get any worse.
It always
not
can.
Not that he doesn't get barbecued with every single thing he says and does, but all right, here's a tricky one. Joan Kroc, born on this day not dead.
Like the shoe?
No. Calm down. I'm gonna try to help you here. Joan's a girl.
Okay.
And Joan Kroc, spelled Kroc.
Come on, Easton.
Wait, that's the McDonald's.
There
person,
you
isn't
go.
it?
Yes, the
Wow.
third wife of Ray Kroc, who owned McDonald's and the San Diego Padres, to tie it into sports. But yes, good.
Did you ever watch The Founder on Netflix?
I did.
I was talking to Shane.
No.
I had a feeling you did. That's
I
why
need
I
to.
was like, come on, Easton. I'm sure you know this one.
I watched The Field of Dreams, by the way.
We have.
Well, we need to talk about this one of these days then. All
Well,
right.
I have a report coming up here. I gave him some homework. He's
Good.
finally seen it, so I can't wait to get into that to kick off the show.
Okay,
That'd be
good.
fun.
Well, you guys take it away. Everybody stick around. The Pulse is next.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no
All right,
medical
let's do this,
exam.
Pat.
Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-333-1750, 800-333-1750, or biglou.com.
Paid for by term provider. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across
Prize Picks on here, huh? Let's go.
You can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize
it's just
Picks,
one I just
America's
kinda added
#1
in.
daily fantasy sports app, is available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Join now, because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million.
That would be why, because it says 2 free picks in December. You might want to steer clear of whatever you just added there.
That's code PRIMETIME on Prize Picks to get $50 credit instantly when you play $5.
And if you need to
don't
catch
even need to
Drake,
win to
feel free
receive
to
the
catch
$50
Drake.
bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Your home for Kansas football is ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Football coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Lance Leipold.
I can't even believe we're heading into our 6th season when you think about that. It just seems like yesterday we got here and time keeps moving. Got through spring well. Really impressed with our guy.
Every play, every update, every interview. Jayhawks football is here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Rock Chalk.
Say cheese and pepperoni with Schlotzsky's buy one, get one free pizzas. Start the middle of the week off right with a free pizza on Wednesdays at Schlotzsky's. All pizzas are buy one, get the second free. Signature sourdough, fresh toppings. Now that's a win-win pizza. Make Schlotzsky's your Wednesday lunch and dinner plan. It's a great deal any way you slice it. Schlotzsky's. It's a mouthful.
I'm Christine Lisi. The defending Super Bowl champion Seahawks signing one of their best defensive players to a massive extension. Agreed with All-Pro defensive tackle Leonard Williams on a 3-year, $90 million extension, $56 million guaranteed. He's now one of the highest paid defensive tackles in NFL history. Pat McAfee show host, Pat McAfee.
So him being a 32-year-old getting $30 million a year in an extension, I think tells you what the Seattle Seahawks want to do. I think it tells you exactly how they feel about him. But I think it's a massive compliment to not only the way he plays, but the way he is as a Seattle Seahawk and what they want their team to be going forward culture-wise.
Browns releasing veteran receiver Cedric Tillman, with Cleveland drafting receivers Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston in the 1st and 2nd rounds, respectively, this year. Tillman was pushed down the team's depth chart. The Colts activated receiver Alec Pierce off the PUP list, clearing the way for him to practice. He underwent ankle surgery in March. Now will start ramping up with the hopes of returning for week 1. The Packers needing depth at tight end behind starter Tucker Kraft, signing veteran Jonnu Smith. He spent last season in Pittsburgh.
Internet at the end of the segment.
Yep, thank you.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, as he gets ready to kick off his second season as UNC's head coach, will Bill Belichick be able to finally silence all his critics? It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Wichita's new
This
sports
is
leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton. You're listening to The Pulse with Pat Strathman on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Small town, big dreams, and a young boy the age of 15 had a premonition his city would get seen. Now I'm winning, get Sheen in the city of the home.
What's up, Wichita? Happy Thursday, everyone. Hope you're having a terrific day. Overall, a terrific week. Tomorrow turns into a football Friday because you have the Kansas City Chiefs as they play the final preseason game facing Seattle on Saturday, week 0 for college football. Heck, college football is something you can watch tonight. Football is officially back. And yes, we'll talk about some football right here on The Pulse on Wichita's sports leader. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. Can't thank you enough for making us a part of your afternoon. However you may be listening, all of you know about all of the ways you can listen. Lots and lots of ways you can listen. Yes, 92.3 FM on the old radio dial, but streaming is the movement for a lot of you. Can't say I blame you because we have all sorts of ways for you to stream the show. ESPNWichita.com. There's a listen live button on there. Check us out that way. Check out podcasts as well. The ESPN Wichita app is something you want, not only to listen to live programming or podcasts, but also to win some stuff. There will be a pretty cool giveaway that we'll announce here before too long, courtesy of the ESPN Wichita app. If you have a smart speaker, tell it to tune into ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM or KKGQ. And if you want to see our camera shake on a regular basis due to the heavy machinery outside, feel free to go to YouTube, Facebook, and X. I mean, that's not the main reason why you go there, but if you want to go check it out, feel free. I will say we have a new addition to our studio that you can check out as well, and it's something that y'all could win. So stay tuned for that. But check out what I'm talking about. Head on over to YouTube, Facebook, and X. I'm Pat Strathman. Filling in for Jack Johnson is Easton John. He's producing and filling in for the program today. Join us, 316-669-4996. That is the number to call if you would like to chime in that way. A lot of you, though, prefer the text line option. Can't say I blame you because you're probably stuck at work, and instead of listening to music, you're catching us, but you still want to be a part of the show, but you can't call. That's why the text line was created, 316-666-2285. The text line can give you some prizes as well. It is our final day to give you a chance to go see The Sandlot at the Starlight Drive-In this weekend. We are down to just 2 family 4-packs for the Kansas State Fair. And if you want to win those tickets, we'll give you an opportunity here today. Also, if you're looking forward to winning some free barbecue, Easton will provide the burnt end of the hour trivia question. All of that can be won by texting 316-666-2285. So be ready to text when I tell you to. Or just chime in whenever you like. Kansas fans, you might have some opinions on some recent news. So if you want to hit us up on the text line, feel free, 316-666-2285. You can already check out the breaking news involving KU football. You can head on over to social media. You'll always be updated on all the latest things involving your favorite teams by following the social media platforming that we have. Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. We got it. Give us a follow on all those different platforms. Coming up here in a little bit, voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, Brian Haney. He's back for 2026, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about involving Kansas football, just in general. But also, he is now a married man, so we'll check in and see how married life is treating him so far. At the end of the first hour, we'll do the burnt end of the hour trivia question brought to you by Tanker Barbecue. In hour number 2, the sour performance / play of the week. I've been very patient on this particular subject. Could have talked about it on Monday, Tuesday, yesterday, but I waited for an opportunity to talk about this subject, and we'll get into that at 3:02. 3:25, we hope Kevin Saul, Director of Athletics at Wichita State, joins the program. I checked in with him early in the week saying, hey, I'm trying to map out my week. How's it looking for Thursday? He said, yeah, this is looking good. All right, great. We're going to have him on the airwaves. A lot to talk about involving Wichita State coming up at 3:25. And then at the very end of the show, a little throwback Thursday, I'm going to quiz young Easton John and see how good he is going to be. And who knows, maybe we'll save our Field of Dreams review for the second hour. Easton, I'm glad that you actually followed through on the homework I assigned. Job well done.
Yes, I did.
Can't wait.
Emotional movie.
Yeah. Yes, it is an emotional movie. So we'll get into that coming up in hour number 2 with Easton John. And I will say, for those who want to like a little look behind the curtain, yesterday I was talking to someone else, and all of a sudden in the background, Easton says he'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're going to talk to me tomorrow. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. Well, we learned that Jack is filling in for Soren Petro. So if you're hoping for Jack Johnson, he's going to be filling in for Soren here before too long. But Easton, glad to have you back. How's wedding planning going for Easton John?
Oh, man, update. It is going as smooth as you could possibly imagine for me. It's going great, in quotes.
You sound so confident.
It sucks.
It's hard. It's really, really hard. All right, well, glad to have you here. And we already got a couple people reacting to the news involving KU football. My guy, Spencer, saying Pat, rock chalk. Another individual chiming in. I'm glad Kansas is going with Isaiah Marshall. Cole Ballard, you already kind of know what he is. Marshall has the much higher ceiling. That is the news from today. All it took was Shane to talk about Long Island for Lance Leipold to reveal his starting quarterback. So you can thank Shane for this, I suppose, because next Friday you'll have Kansas and Long Island. Lance Leipold said for the longest time that he wasn't going to reveal the starting quarterback, as there was a very hot battle going on in Lawrence involving Isaiah Marshall and Cole Ballard. A while ago, Jack asked the question of who do you think starts for Kansas for 2026 for the opener, and I firmly said it would be Cole Ballard. This is a guy that you already saw get out there on the football field, filled in for an injured Jalen Daniels in a very important game against a rival school. You saw how big he is, maybe a better thrower than Isaiah Marshall. So I thought Lance Leipold would go in that direction. But I will say this, though, just because the quarterback has been named doesn't mean that this is a quarterback who is going to be the starter for the remainder of the season. I'm not saying this is mind games from Lance Leipold, but you know who's lurking in the shadows in game number 2, and that is the border war. It's Mizzou and Kansas. Mizzou is currently a top 25 program. You have Lance Leipold, who maybe wants to throw out a bunch of tape on Isaiah Marshall, maybe with the hopes of catching Mizzou off guard in game number 2. That could happen. I don't know if it will. I don't know if that's the real motivation behind this move from Lance Leipold. I'm just throwing it out there just because you have someone being named the starting quarterback. It doesn't mean that that person is going to be that way for the rest of the season. But Pete Thamel, he revealed, it wasn't Lance Leipold saying this, it was Pete Thamel who reported that Kansas has named Isaiah Marshall the school's starting quarterback. He's a redshirt sophomore, dual threat quarterback who has played in 9 games, completed all 3 of his passes and rushed for 160 yards on 15 carries. Marshall won a close camp battle with former walk-on Cole Ballard. Marshall will start against Long Island before hosting Missouri on September 11th. Marshall gives offensive coordinator Andy Koltnicki the ability to stress defenses. 316-666-2285. Yeah, but don't you think Long Island is low-hanging fruit, so maybe this is like a Nussmeier preseason game. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm going with this, everyone. I think that the more upside play is Isaiah Marshall. I think that the better upside is Isaiah Marshall. And the reason being, looking at how Andy Koltnicki operates offenses. Not saying Cole Ballard can't be a starting quarterback, because I think he very much can, but Isaiah Marshall gives you a little bit more juice. Andy Koltnicki, when he had his system in place at Kansas, heck, even when he was at Penn State, you saw how dynamic it can be. There's a lot of window dressing that's really going to impact the rushing game. Well, Isaiah Marshall, the athlete that he is, you throw him into the mix as well as the rushing attack, you would think that that's going to bode well. The one thing that would concern me the most is, can Isaiah Marshall be a solid passer? Can he be a good passing quarterback? Can he be that guy? Because honestly, we don't know. We don't know that aspect. Cole Ballard, though, I think we know, though, he's not going to have this ability to make your jaw drop in the pocket, dancing around and escaping guys. You feel like Isaiah Marshall has that type of ability rather than a Cole Ballard. That's what I'm saying. The upside is definitely there for Isaiah Marshall. So I love how we have one texter going, hey, this is the much better play, and one texter going, yeah, but don't you think this is kind of like an audition against Long Island? I think both can be true. I think this very much could be an audition for Isaiah Marshall. I think it could be an audition for him. Now, he's had chances over the course of the last couple of weeks. I have been at practice every damn day, so I can't tell you that Isaiah Marshall has been head and shoulders better than Cole Ballard. The only thing I can go off of is what last time I talked to Coach Leipold, it's, hey, you know, when they say you got 2 quarterbacks, sometimes it can be a negative thing. I'm telling you right now that that's not the case. Well, if you're a Kansas fan, you're hoping that that is the case. You're hoping that you got 2 guys who can play that. And I thought against Long Island that you could see both QBs. At least you hope. You're hoping that Isaiah Marshall goes out there and they are just hammering the Sharks, and that allows Cole Ballard to get in there, and then you got tape on both those guys, I guess, ahead of the game against Missouri. But I think for Isaiah Marshall, here's the thing about him rather than Cole Ballard. When Isaiah Marshall was recruited to Kansas, he had always been branded as the future quarterback for the Kansas Jayhawks. He has always been branded that way. He's always been viewed as that guy. When Lance Leipold ending up getting him, the entire Kansas nation thought, dang, that is such a big deal to have that guy just waiting for his turn to be the starting quarterback at Kansas. And now he's going to get the opportunity. You haven't seen much of him in terms of being a passer, but I have seen his legs enough to think, yeah, he's got the athleticism that I think bodes well in an Andy Koltnicki system. But my question, once again, is, can he be an efficient passer? Can he be a good passer? That's a legit question. That's a big part of being a good quarterback, y'all. You got to be a good passer in order to move the offense. I still think that this is an offense with Andy Koltnicki that is still going to rely on the ground and pound. All that window dressing, all that motion that you're going to see, you have multiple guys in the backfield that should be good enough for you. I think both Kansas State and Kansas have both really, really good backfields. And I think both of the coaches who are handling the show, I think they're going to understand that they can run the football, and that's going to make things so much better for the quarterback. It's going to be better for the wide receivers, so on and so forth. Cole Ballard, to me, is a better passer just based on the limited action that we've seen from him. Isaiah Marshall is the better threat. I think Isaiah Marshall also has the better upside. No offense to Cole Ballard. Not saying that he's a bad player, but he is a former walk-on, and yet here is Isaiah Marshall, who has patiently waited for his opportunity. And now he gets a chance to take the keys from Andy Kolnicki and run the offense. But is he really going to be the quarterback for the entire season? That's the hope. You hope that that's the case. But we'll see in that first game next week. We'll see how the offense looks. The offense could be dreadful. And if it is dreadful, then what's going to happen? Well, you will probably see some changes. But back when he was recruited, he was a 3-star prospect ranked by Rivals, 24/7 Sports, and ESPN. He was ranked as the number 14 prospect in Michigan, number 14 dual threat quarterback in the country, one of two 2024 Kansas signees from Southfield A&T. He was joined by Jalen Todd. His senior season, he threw for over 3,000 yards and 39 touchdowns, while also rushing for 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns. He chose KU over Kentucky, West Virginia, Mississippi, Michigan, and a few other schools. Didn't see any action in 2024. In 2025, played in 9 games. He rushed 15 times for 160 yards, including a season long of 43. But passing-wise, you didn't see much from him. But against Utah, he ran 5 times for 36 yards in a finale. He didn't do much against Arizona and Iowa State. He carried the ball 1 time against Oklahoma State and was a 43-yarder. He took 2 direct snaps and rushed for 13 yards against Central Florida. Against Cincinnati, he ran 1 time for 20 yards in his only snap of the game. You haven't seen anything from a passing perspective, and that's what would scare me a little bit about Isaiah Marshall. And that's why, to your credit, Texter, if you want to say this is like a Garrett Nussmeier, where you get a chance to throw him out there and see what he's got, I think that's partly true. But also what can be true is Isaiah Marshall has more upside. The athleticism jumps off the page. Hopefully in the summer, he really got a chance to work on his ability to throw the football. And hopefully he is an effective passer for this Kansas squad. But knowing what we know about Andy Kolnicki, knowing what we know about the offense for Kansas, doesn't it feel like that Isaiah Marshall is just the better of the two in terms of fit? Because that's the other aspect too now. You can't overlook that aspect to where you have an offensive coordinator who's coming back, and maybe one guy was great in another system, but when you're trying to do something else, maybe that guy is not the perfect fit. So we'll see. Cole Ballard last year, we saw what he did from a passing perspective. He played in 8 games. He was 10 of 22 for 108 yards and 1 touchdown. He ran for 92 yards on 15 carries. But there's not much else there, I would say, from a playmaking capability. And at the end of the day, to me, when you are looking at quarterback, you want someone who's going to be a playmaker. And Isaiah Marshall is one of those guys, too, that could have left when Jalen Daniels said, hey, I'm going to come on back. And that was a rumor there for a little bit that Isaiah Marshall was looking elsewhere, that he was going to go somewhere else. But he decided to stay, and now here he is for game number 1, listed as the starting quarterback. Will it stay that way? That's really up to him. He can run the football, though. He's athletic. And after seeing what the offense was like with Jalen Daniels running the show, Isaiah Marshall was more so like a Jalen Daniels, and there's probably more of a comfortability level there. I think he's got more upside. But he's got to be a better passer, no doubt. And if there are any signs of trouble, Cole Ballard's probably not too far. But if you're also looking at this too, going, well, fall camp took place, and just like me, maybe you're like me, thinking that Cole Ballard was going to be the starting quarterback. That was going to be the guy. Heck, I was texting Jack. Jack's like, I was 95% sure Cole Ballard was going to be the starter. I thought the same thing. Does that mean Isaiah Marshall had an amazing fall camp, or did Cole Ballard really trip on himself? I guess we'll see. But we have the news that Lance Leipold has his starting quarterback, and it's Isaiah Marshall. The one that they said would be the quarterback of the future at Kansas. He has officially been named the starter. Now we'll see if he delivers next Friday night when Kansas takes on Long Island. And it's a game that you can listen to right here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. 316-666-2285. Kansas fans, what do you make of Isaiah Marshall being named the starting quarterback for Kansas according to Pete Thamel? Let me know. 316-666-2285. We are off and running. We will give away a family 4-pack of tickets to the Kansas State Fair. $20 to Tinker Barbecue on the line. We also will give you one more opportunity to get free admission to go catch a Sandlot at the Starlight Drive-In this weekend. Lots of giveaways, multiple guests, all sorts of fun here on The Pulse. Speaking of guests, we'll get to our first one when we return. Voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, Brian Haney, makes his first appearance for the 26-27 athletic year. He joins us next on The Pulse.
You're tuned into The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Go for it.
What's up, Wichita? I got to say, it is a thing of beauty to have ImageNet Consulting in our corner. They are our partner for all things audio, visual, managed IT, and managed print. They helped me out the other day, and it was super, super simple. Technology issues, you should know this if you're a business owner, it can slow any business down, and that's where ImageNet Consulting comes in. They bring 70 years of experience helping businesses stay secure and productive. I like that they focus on preventing problems before they impact your business. Whether it's cybersecurity, managed IT, audio-visual upgrades, or secure print solutions, they can help. Protect your business from cyber threats. That's a very real thing now, y'all. Reduce downtime and technology headaches. Improve communication and collaboration. That tends to lead to more business, by the way. Customize solutions based on your needs. If that all sounds amazing to you and you're a business owner, check out ImageNet.com. Learn how ImageNet Consulting can support your Wichita business. ImageNet Consulting, from IT to audiovisual to secure print, ImageNet Consulting keeps Wichita businesses moving. Visit ImageNet.com.
Sean Tarbell with Davis Moore Chevrolet. Summer's not over, and neither is your shot at a great deal.
Thank you.
We've got a massive selection of new Chevys on the lot, and the savings right now are some of the best we've seen all year. Get a 2026 Chevy Traverse with 2.9% APR financing and no payments until November, or save up to $11,000 off MSRP, or get 0% financing for 5 years on a 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab. Together, let's drive at Davis Moore Chevrolet, located under the big American flag at Kellogg and Tyler. Or check us out online at davis-moorechevrolet.com. All offers plus tag, title, tax, and administrative fees expire August 31st, 2020.
Why do winners play at Seven Plans Casinos? The numbers don't lie. From Wichita to Texas, Seven Plans has the only certified loose casino, as verified by Strictly Slots Magazine. That's why winners play here. Plus, use your Seven Plans rewards card for even more perks and offers. It's official. Seven Plans Casinos have the area's only certified loose slot.
Hey Wichita, my name is Hayes and school's back in session. Football season is here and that means practices, games, and weekends packed with sports. When my family heads out, we've got baseball bags, football gear, folding chairs, snacks, and somehow it all fits in our brand new Kia Telluride. Whether we're headed to practice, Friday night lights, or cheering from the stands, we've always got room for the whole crew. If your family's always on the go like mine, stop by Midwest Kia. They got the perfect vehicle for every practice, every road trip, and every game day. Midwest Kia. Proud to drive
Brian?
Wichita families all season long.
What's up, friends?
I
Sean
just lost
Kellerman
him
here
for
with
just
Kansas
some
Nation.
reason.
If you're
Hold
looking
up.
for the best KU coverage, come on over to kansasnation.com. Daniel Courtwright and I host Rock Chalk Sports from 4 to 6 daily, and we break down all things KU. We're mere days away from the start of Jayhawk football. Hear from coaches and players, plus get exclusive coverage on the other fall sports, including both top 15 ranked teams, KU volleyball and KU soccer. Also, check out the Haney and the Hawks podcast, where Brian Haney sits down with Zeke Mayo, brought to you by Ameritrust Credit Union. Find us on socials at the Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, Kansas Nation on Facebook. KansasNation.com, your spot for all things KU.
Guard gutters. Today we're going to do a gutter comparison of why regular gutter systems are faulty versus.
I don't have Brian yet, but I'll get him back. Find you up.
KU football, not in action this weekend, but they will be next Friday when they take on Long Island. And we are excited to have that first game right here on your radio home of the Kansas Jayhawks, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. And the guy is going to bring you the calls. Joins us now, Brian Haney, voice of the Kansas Jayhawks. He's brought to you by KU Wichita Pediatrics. Healthy kids are the future of our community. KU Wichita Pediatrics provides compassionate care to help Kansas children grow, thrive, and stay healthy. KU Wichita Pediatrics, proud to support Kansas athletics. Brian, glad to have you back on the program. First and foremost, did Coach Leipold check in for your college eligibility to be kicker after nailing the field goal at your wedding a few weeks ago? Actually, I'm not hearing Brian right now. Okay. So we will wait, and maybe we can try again. Brian, do you read me? Okay, there we go. I see. I was expecting the full-on Brian Haney laugh because I set that up so beautifully because, Coach Leipold probably saw the kick from Brian at his wedding, and he's like, yeah, man, we can sign that guy up for being a backup kicker. Or maybe Jessica can be a holder, too, for that matter. I don't know. But, Brian, glad to have you back. How you doing?
Hey, great to be on with you. Thanks for bringing that up. As Greg Gurley said on the play-by-play, that 20-yard field goal would have been good from at least 22. So, and I had no linemen jumping up to tip it, nobody rushing at me around the edge. It was an absolute layup. Thankfully, we hit it. But thanks for bringing that up, man. Great to be on with you. Great to be talking KU football. Just a little more than a week away from kicking this thing off, and some big quarterback news earlier today that I'm sure we can spend a lot of time on. Yeah, let's dive right into it, shall we? Pete Thamel reports that Isaiah Marshall has been named the starting quarterback. It's been a heated battle between him and Cole Ballard. But Isaiah Marshall, a guy that arrived on campus in Lawrence, everyone thinking he's the QB of the future. Now he's slated to be the starting quarterback next Friday when they take on Long Island. Brian, you've been there at practice. You've seen it. So your thoughts on Isaiah Marshall and what he's done over the last couple of weeks at fall camp? Well, it's been a hotly contested battle, and they've both certainly put their best foot forward at times. But I think that what gets you excited about Zeke as we head into next Friday night is the same thing that folks were excited about when he first committed to KU, and that's that he's got that dual threat, explosive extra gear as a rusher on top of a passer that had some folks, 3 years ago saying, is this Jalen Daniels 2.0? I'm not saying that, but the point is you saw it last year in little bursts when he would come in for some design QB runs. There was the 43-yard run down the right sideline versus Oklahoma State that comes to mind. And I think that extra element of what he brings with his feet and his legs is probably what tipped the scales in the end. But they both certainly proved to be very capable throughout fall camp. And whatever it looks like next Friday night and the week after versus Missouri, I think the big thing for the Kansas quarterbacks as a group this year in trying to take that baton from Jalen Daniels and move forward is, trust the playmakers around you. Trust the super creative play caller that's now back after a 2-year hiatus to Penn State and Andy Kotelnicki. And don't feel like you have to play hero ball and go out there and make the 60-yard across the field pass for a touchdown. Kansas very clearly has come up just shy of bowl eligibility these last couple of years. And in each 5 and 7 season, you can find multiple games where we had that untimely turnover in the red zone, in the end zone on an INT or a goal line fumble or something like that. I think for Isaiah Marshall and for Cole, and even if we see Jenkins at some point, come in, trust your playmakers around you, trust the play caller who's going to put you in positions that accentuate your biggest strengths, and don't feel like you have to do anything extraordinary or spectacular. Zeke's feet and speed give you the chance for the jaw-dropping play, but don't feel like you got to go out there and force in a ball that isn't there, because that's the biggest thing that's going to keep the job in Zeke's favor, is if he plays highly efficient football and stays away from the self-inflicted wounds. But we've got a multitude of capable guys back there. I still have a ton of belief in Cole. His teammates believe in him too. Heck, he was just named a captain yesterday. So I don't think this is the last we've seen of him by any means. You're going to need them both, and it'll be interesting to see how they deploy them. But this job, is certainly one that I'm excited to see Zeke get the first crack at, because there's certain things that only he can bring, and that clearly, that speed element, getting to the edge and bouncing it outside and down the sideline, is the type of Zeke Marshall only play that I think Kansas fans want to see a lot of this year.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were just talking about in the first segment. Was, no offense to Cole Ballard, I still think he's capable, but when you think quarterback, you think playmaker. And not saying Cole can't make plays, but Zeke Marshall's got that extra gear that is truly special. So I totally get where this is coming from with him getting the start for next week. But also, too, Brian, you bring up a good point, and that is, don't try to force the issue. You would probably say that a strength of the offense right now would be the tailback room, right? I'm sure that's part of it, too. What have you seen from the running backs the last couple of weeks?
Boy, I tell you, there's a lot to be excited about there. Certainly fans of high school football in the Sunflower State, and K-State football fans, Colorado football fans, they know about Dylan Edwards, and they know, how he looks like he's shot out of a cannon every time he gets the ball and emerges to that second level. There's a speed component with him that is comparable to a Puka Williams type burst if you talk about recent accelerators for KU. And I think when you add in Yasin Willis, and he pronounces it Yasin, he's a guy from Syracuse that gives you the thunder to go with Edwards' lightning, and a bigger back that can run through you but has enough burst of his own, to get the shoulder square and get by you. It's a great 1-2 punch, and quite frankly, it doesn't stop there. There's honestly 4 guys I really like in that stable of running backs, and it'll just be a matter of how many reps can they give each, and do they ride the hot hand? Do they, go with a 1-2 punch with the first 2 names that I mentioned there at the top, because you've got the power and speed that they both bring. But I think in a year where you're breaking in a new quarterback, and you're trying to play highly efficient football and move the chains and be a team whose strength, quite frankly, I still believe is our defense first and foremost. I think it helps that you've got such a dynamic run game and might have a chance to do some things to extend longer drives. And I'm not saying go straight into ball control offense, but it certainly takes pressure off the quarterback when you've got a multitude of guys that can really move the chains for you with the ground attack. And so I'm really encouraged with what I've seen there. I would tell you that next to our defense and some of the, play on Sunday type defensive talent that we have, the running back position, to me, has been the other spot that's popped the most to the naked eye over the last 4 weeks.
Voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, Brian Haney, joining us here on the Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Anyone standing out in the wide receiver room? Can't pick it. Certainly the guy who comes back with the experience. Tate Nagy continues to be a slippery guy, I suppose, especially in the return game. But I know Nick McMillan is one that everyone's excited to see. I know he's just the tip of the iceberg. So from a wide receiver perspective, has anyone had a chance to stand out over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, Nick definitely has, and you would expect him to. I mean, this is a Buffalo transfer that posted some pretty impressive numbers a season ago. Finished just shy of 1,000 receiving yards and had the 9th most in program history for a single season. He was first-team All-MAC, 7 games of 100-plus receiving yards. He's been outstanding, and that's a guy that I would think, slots into that E-man type role. You think back to last season, you get the Alabama transfer and you have that immediate favorite target of Jalen Daniels. I think Nick McMillan has a chance to post similar splashy impact roles in the first month of the season. By that, I mean targets and receptions. Cam Pickett was a heavily targeted guy early in September a year ago, and then he got a little bit nicked up, and I don't think we saw him fully healthy for the bulk of the year, playing through some stuff. And so I'm excited to see what he can do in year 2, because I think he's had an outstanding camp as well. So those are the 2 guys that are the tip of the spear when you talk about McMillan and Pickett. But, Cox is another guy that has big size as a red zone target, 6'3", 215, comes from Middle Tennessee. I think he has come on as camp has gone on a little bit deeper. You've seen him settle in more and more, because when we had signing day and his commitment was first initially announced, his measurables jumped off the press release as much as anybody. Now we're starting to see him put together contributions, in 11 on 11 that makes you see him jump off the film as well. So those are all guys that I would circle. And then Keaton Kebeka, he's been a guy that at times has flashed over his first 3 years on campus, but hasn't always had health on his side. He's ready for a breakthrough year in a bigger role if he can string 12 games together. I think those are all names. Plus Carson Brune, who flashed at tight end a year ago before getting nicked up, big old number 44. He stands in about 6'7" tall and has been a very trustworthy reception guy no matter who the quarterback has been. Look for him to be a high-impact guy for Kansas. A big target, 260 pounds out of Sioux Center, Iowa.
How much does Calvin Clements stand out in a crowd, huh? How about that guy?
Yeah, speaking of 6'7" and large, he's 6'7", 325. He was a guy a year ago that I think looked the part, but didn't have the season in terms of pass protection and overall grade that he set out to have. But he's had an outstanding offseason. He's really emerged in the leadership role now, his 4th year in the program from Lawrence Free State High School. He looks like an NFL prospect. Now it's his chance to put on film that he can be that. But we've seen him mature and progress in every aspect of his development. And so I think they're really excited about him. And you got a multitude of other fresh faces that you're mixing in along that offensive line as well. That'll be something we're watching as much as anything on opening night, but particularly I think in week 2. And that's not to take anything away from Long Island, who will play later tonight, by the way, against North Dakota. If you want to check them out for an early scouting report, you can find that game on ESPN+. I think we really want to see, though, the players in the trenches, both offensive and defensive line, how they measure up against SEC caliber talent when Missouri comes calling. So whether you're talking about a Morrow or a Stroh or even a guy like Amir Herring, who's worked at both guard and center this year, what's this new look offensive line going to look like? The real test comes in week 2. And so hopefully we see a great first foot forward for Kansas in the Long Island game in all phases. But I think the real litmus test obviously comes when you go up against your border rival in that Storage Mart border showdown game in week 2. And I touched on that as you asked about Clements and the O-line. Same goes for the D-line. I mean, we're so excited about Leroy Harris as a defensive end. I think that he could be our most intriguing defensive prospect since maybe Aqib Talib, in terms of like how high a defender from Kansas could get drafted eventually. And he could have a couple of more years before we're talking about that. But he's a true breakout pick this year. Jalen Todd in a similar category of hype and potential. Obviously, you bring back Trey Lathan, who was your leading tackler a year ago with 86 tackles. And I'm excited about, you talk about rush ins and getting some help on the other side from Leroy Harris. I think David Santiago from Michigan State and Air Force could be an immediate impact guy. But again, what's it look like against SEC caliber big boys up front that are trying to protect the Missouri quarterback. I think that's when we'll really start to see what we have with this group.
Well, you brought up a couple of different names there for defense. My next question was going to be how much more comfortable, I suppose, are players in year number 2 with DK McDonald being the defensive coordinator compared to year number 1 under DK?
Well, one guy I left off, I didn't mean to, but Blake Harold was voted a team captain yesterday, the big defensive tackle from Shenandoah, Iowa. He's an outstanding prospect as well. And I think similar things that I said about Calvin Clement's development, both on the field and as a leader, you could copy and paste that and apply it to Blake Harold, who's really taken on that leadership role. And I think feels even more confident in year 2 of DK. I think DK himself feels confident. He knows what he has. He has been able to take that core nucleus of some of the names like Lathan and Harold and Harris and Todd and add to it with some high impact, immediate impact transfer pieces. And I just personally sense an air of confidence and just he's at ease now, putting his stamp on this in year 2 as the full-time DC, not just co-DC. And then, he knows what he's got in terms of weaponry back there. I really believe this is the strength of this Kansas football team in 2026, the defense. And that's not to say we're going to win a bunch of 14-13 type games. If Andy Kotelnicki is in the house, they're going to try to score 30 every week and maybe flirt with 40 on occasion in certain weeks. But the point is, I think the defense is where you feel like you have the most developed talent, not just amongst your starters, but throughout the 2 deep and even 3 deep at certain spots. And if you asked me, what's the biggest difference, Leipold year 6 versus some of the early Leipold teams, the depth and breadth of talent where your drop off between the first stringer and the second stringer really isn't that big of a gap. The fact that your 2s are pushing the 1s and you can rotate guys in to keep fresh rotations along those lines because you like what you have there. They've bolstered the cupboard significantly over the last 4 or 5 seasons in building up this program to where you've got that type of day in, day out competition. Several guys deep at each position. That's what excites me. It looks like a real program. Early in his tenure, when they're trying to build this thing from the bottom up, you clearly had talented guys, but sometimes you say you're only as good as your weakest link, or in football, you're only as good as the guy backing up your best player. And now I feel like the depth that we have at most spots is as good as I can remember seeing it since peak Mangino. And that's really got to get you fired up, because as we know, in a league this good, with a schedule this challenging, you're going to need that depth at some point, one time or another. And I think Kansas really does have it here in 2026.
Well, Brian, thanks so much for your time. I'm going to save the stadium talk for next week. It is confirmed I will be making the trek up from Wichita to Lawrence next Friday to catch the season opener, see the booth for myself. So looking forward to seeing you once again. Should be a lot of fun. But Brian, appreciate your time, and I have a feeling you're probably well rested. Are you well rested? You ready to rock and roll, courtesy of your purple mattress?
Thanks to my friends at the Mattress Hub, no doubt. I was just texting with Ryan Beatty last night, one of the all-time great Jayhawk baseball players, who's also one of the great entrepreneurs starting this Mattress Hub company 15 years ago. And what an amazing run they've had and continue to have as the number one choice for. Did we drop out there?
I think we did drop out. I think you're good now. We dropped up for a second. I think we're good. We're good now, buddy. Sorry. It's crazy, man. This is live radio. You know how this goes. Live radio. It's fun.
We're back on? Okay. So I was hearing the spots come in. I didn't know if this was like the Academy Awards when they start to play the music. That's your cue to shut up. But yes, Ryan Beatty and Company, best selection, best prices, best customer service. I put my money where my mouth's at few years ago and buying that purple mattress from them. But I started with a Tempur-Pedic, and I made sure I got it right, trying out the mattress first, making sure it was the best night's sleep. They'll do the same for you. Check them out today at the Mattress Hub and thematresshub.com. We'll talk to you next week. I guess I'll see you next week, my man. Can't wait to have you in the new booth.
Can't wait, man. Should be a ton of fun. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, Brian Haney here on the Pulse. Technology problems are going to happen from time to time, but this is what happens, man. You lose Jack, and all of a sudden, things just go crazy. But it's live radio, no big deal. I can't wait to see Brian next week. I know Jack and I are going to be out there next Friday, so we're pumped. And I'm actually going to be doing the show out at the booth next Friday, and currently working on some plans to make it a very, very special show. So looking forward to that. Also looking forward to these reports every single week. Voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, Brian Haney, brought to you by KU Wichita Pediatrics. Healthy kids are the future of our community. KU Wichita Pediatrics provides compassionate care to help Kansas children grow, thrive, and stay healthy. KU Wichita Pediatrics, proud to support Kansas athletics. We'll give you a chance to win free barbecue. Bert, end of the hour trivia question when we return.
The heartbeat of Wichita sports fans. The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
What's up, Wichita? Yeah, we just got done talking to Brian. We had Wyatt on Wednesday. Lots of fun. Well, KU K-State, it's going to be going down here before too long. Well, my friends at the Wichita Sports Commission, they are doing something very, very special. They are doing a charter trip for KU K-State in Manhattan. The registration deadline is October 10th. You get admission to the game with exclusive access to the touchdown terrace at Bill Snyder Family Stadium and elevated seating experience in the south end zone. Round-trip charter coach transportation provided by Village Travel with complimentary snacks and beverages on board. There will be multiple buffets, in-game fanfare food, and beverages available till the end of the third quarter with a cash bar. If that all sounds amazing, I know for me, I'm getting to the point where I don't necessarily want to drive to the game and try to figure out parking and then drive back, so on and so forth. It's a 2-hour trek. Let someone do the driving for you, and you are supporting a pretty cool business such as the Wichita Sports Commission. If that interests you, head on over to the Wichita Sports Commission Facebook page and check out their information on there, or head on over to wichitasports.com. Check out my friends at the Wichita Sports Commission.
Go Hog Wild, Pit Barbecue, Hog Wild, get some.
And do you have a trivia
Choose
question?
a favorite at Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, but Terry Caldwell, Hog Wild partner and general manager in Wichita at Maple
Or
and
no?
West Street, thinks that's an easy call to make.
It's got to be Hog Wild's award-winning ribs. Our ribs are so good because we only buy our meat from those who share our high-quality standards. We also hand-rub each slab with our famous seasoning blend. Then, Hog Wild ribs are slow-smoked.
All good. Do you have a trivia question for this?
Tenderness. You're going to keep coming back.
All right, perfect.
Are Hog Wild signature ribs your new favorite? Order online at gohogwild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. 6 locations in Wichita, also in Derby, Hutchinson, and Salina.
I can't hear you. You're too quiet.
Jimmy's here to learn the board.
All right. Sounds good. What's up, Jimmy?
How you doing, Pat?
Good, man.
Hey, this is Blake Davis, Davis Liquor Outlet, and here's a summer special on Cork Seltzers. 12 packs, only $17.99. Or grab Most Wanted Vodka, 1.75 liters, for just $18.99. Davis Liquor Outlet, each store independently owned and operated. Wichita owned, Wichita proud.
Turning belief
He's gonna score!
into victories.
And Kansas will win!
Soar with the Jayhawks all season long.
He fumbles the ball. KU's got it.
20
15,
Topado.
5, touchdown, Kansas.
Join us Friday, September 4th as the Jayhawks start their 2026 campaign against the LIU Sharks in Lawrence.
Send a
On your
bumper.
home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Button you up now.
Hour number 2 approaching. We have our Sour Play / Performance of the Week, brought to you by Blind Lemon Hard Lemonade, the official hard lemonade of summer. It's a story that everyone's been talking about. I decided not to do it on Monday, Tuesday, or yesterday. But I do have to bring it up. And it's our final Sour Play / Performance of the Week, if you could believe that, too. Just a brief little fun segment as, heck, in a couple of weeks, we will have the Running the Spread back on Thursdays in hour number 2, which can't wait for that. But maybe since there will be a couple of weeks before it's officially time for football, maybe we'll do one more. I'll see about that. Let me see what I can do when it comes to our Sour Play / Performance of the Week. Director of Athletics at Wichita State, Kevin Saul, set to make an appearance at 3:25. I haven't talked to him on the show for a little bit now. He's just been crazy busy with all sorts of things. And we have a lot of stuff to go over with Kevin coming up at 3:25. You have the big news with Wichita State going to Kentucky. I don't know if we really are going to get too deep in the Kenyon Giles news, but I think I would more so just open it up to him and see if he wants to provide any more information. You have volleyball that is set to officially begin here for this weekend. So we got a lot of stuff to get into with Kevin Saul coming up at 3:25. And then at the very end of the program, we will wrap things up. We will wrap things up with a Throwback Thursday, although I will probably reserve that for Easton John's review of Field of Dreams. Do have some giveaways in the second hour. We have free admission to see the Sandlot at the Starlight Drive-In for this weekend. We'll give you one opportunity to win that. We also have a family 4-pack of tickets to hand out for the Kansas State Fair. Right now, though, we got to get to our burnt end of the hour trivia question. It is brought to you by Tanker Barbecue, located just around the corner from us, 620 West Maple, open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 until 7 o'clock. Shane and his son went there for lunch yesterday. I got the confirmation picture, and I also saw a beer in the photo, which something that we really haven't talked a lot about for Tanker. They officially have the ability to give you beer. So if you're looking for barbecue and beer, they got it now at Tanker Barbecue. They also have some other things that they've adjusted over there, and I would highly recommend you go over that way and check them out. From fall-off-the-bone ribs to juicy brisket and house-made sides, they are serving big food with big flavor and slow-smoked to perfection. Refuel your tank at Tanker Barbecue. Well, this is always interesting because it's Easton who's not necessarily – I love how he's laughing already because there's Easton who we already found out, and I'm old, Easton's young. Easton's limited knowledge on some different sports figures. I have had all sorts of questions for burnt end of the hour trivia question. You have Dylan Brett asking a question about darts, for instance. And then there's Jack who would have you try to answer a question that requires 4 components to it. So I have no idea where this is going to go, y'all. So if you want to win free Tanker Barbecue, I'm not the one who picks the questions. It is always up to the producer, and today's producer is Easton John. So if you want to win some free Q, answer this question from Easton John at 316-666-2285. Easton, I'm a little terrified, but what is our burnt end of the hour trivia question?
I've never been hyped up like this, so this will be interesting. But my question is, how many games were won in the longest winning streak by the Kansas City Royals?
I actually brought it up yesterday. The longest winning streak in Royals history. 316-666-2285. 316-666-2285. The longest winning streak in Royals history. I'm almost positive after they won 9 in a row, I spent the first segment just talking about the Royals in general, and I threw out some different numbers for win streaks for the Kansas City Royals. Certainly for them to get to this number, they have time. They still could technically do it, but the win streak ended at 9 in a row for the boys in blue. But there you go. That's a pretty easy one from Easton John. At least I feel like it's easy, especially if you actually pay attention to the show. You should probably already know the answer. The longest winning streak in Royals history is what? 316-666-2285. That's 316-666-2285. Let me know your guesses. So I already knew this. So when you threw that out there, I already know the answer. So this is perfect. Sometimes when Jack does it, or just Deebs for that matter, I don't know. But this is one that I definitely know because I talked about it just the other day. So job well done, Easton. Good job. Job well done. You do try your best. You do try your best. All right, hour 2 is approaching. More giveaways. Our Sour Play / performance / news of the week. Kevin Saul, Director of Athletics at Wichita State. And we have a Throwback Thursday / more so Field of Dreams movie review, courtesy of Easton John. Should be a great hour number 2. Hope you can stick around and be a part of the fun. Hour 2 when we return.
This is The Pulse on Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
The Surge are on the road this week in Texas, and listen to the games from Frisco. The Wind Surge return home Tuesday, August 25th for a key series against Arkansas. It starts with a 2 for Tuesday, continues with a Wet Nose Wednesday, a Turbo Tubs Thirsty Thursday. Friday brings post-game fireworks. Saturday, a Wind Surge hockey jersey giveaway, and we wrap it up on Sunday with a Kids Day. Join the fun and get your tickets at windsurge.com and listen to the game tonight starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Sean Tarbell with Davis Moore Chevrolet. Summer's not over, and neither is your shot at a great deal. We've got a massive selection of new Chevys on the lot, and the savings right now are some of the best we've seen all year. Get a 2026 Chevy Traverse with 2.9% APR financing and no payments until November, or save up to $11,000 off MSRP, or get 0% financing for 5 years on a 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab. Together, let's drive at Davis Moore Chevrolet, located under the big American flag at Kellogg and Tyler. Or check us out online at davis-moorechevrolet.com. All offers plus tag title tax administrative fees expire August 31st, 2026.
The future stars of women's golf are returning to the birthplace of the LPGA for the 5th year in a row. Golfers from the Annika Women's All-Pro Tour are set to head to Wichita for the 2026 Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces at Rolling Hills Country Club September 8th through the 13th. Interact with the golfers by being a part of the Pro-Am or bring the kids for the free Junior Pro-Am and the Kids Golf Clinic. Mark your calendars for September 8th to the 13th for the Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces.
Want to hear the best conversations in Wichita sports? You know where to turn. On ESPN Wichita, the guest lineup brings the heat with Trent Green, Kevin Harlan, Jeremy Fowler, Pete Sweeney, Brian Haney, Wyatt Thompson, Matt Derrick, and Taylor Eldridge. From the Chiefs, KU, and K-State to Wichita State, and everything in the local Wichita sports scene. ESPN Wichita, the best guests, the biggest stories. Your sports home is ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
If you're looking to win in Wichita, there's only one place that delivers every single day. Gilley's Gambling Hall. We're talking over 1,000 gaming machines, more chances, more action, and more big wins. And when it's time to turn up the thrill, head to Trackside. Simulcast horse race betting unlike anything else in the region. Fast, exciting, and always in the money. Make no mistake, Gilley's Gambling Hall is the best place to win in Wichita. Find out more by visiting playgillies.com.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Just the opportunity to see, another team's game plan. Obviously, it's a little watered down just because of preseason. Everybody just kind of getting their technical thing and stuff ready, but studying the same guys for weeks on end. So just being able to
Wichita's sports leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3
Wichita's
FM.
home
for Chiefs GQ, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
I'm Christine Lisi. One of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, staying in Seattle. Seahawks. An all-pro defensive tackle, Leonard Williams, agreed on a 3-year, $90 million extension, $56 million guaranteed. Last season, he led an elite defensive line, one that helped a historically great D lead Seattle to its second Super Bowl championship. Coach Mike McDonald.
It's so important for us to be able to keep as many Seahawks that we feel like can help us out in our building as we come down to like this portion of the year and really throughout the season. When they're game-changing type guys like Leo, like Spoon, like Jax, we had the opportunity to lock them up for an extended period of time and make them foundational pieces of our team. That's got to fire you up.
Receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba and quarterback Devin Witherspoon also given extensions by Seattle this offseason. Colts receiver Alec Pierce, coming back from ankle surgery, activated off the PUP list, was limited to individual drills at today's practice, hopes to rejoin full team portions next week. NHL three-time Vezina Trophy and gold medal winning Jets goaltender Connor Hellebuck publicly confirming he has asked for a trade. He has spent his entire decade-plus NHL career in Winnipeg.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, as he gets ready to kick off his second season as UNC's head coach, will Bill Belichick be able to finally silence all his critics? It's on Sportsman, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Wichita's news sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton.
It's just a public service announcement sponsored by Just Blaze and the good folks at Rockefeller Records.
Fellow Americans, it is with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho.
Button you up.
H to the OV. I used to move snow.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has officially arrived. It's the Pulse on Wichita's sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. Streaming as well. If you want to watch us, we are on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you want to drop some comments on there, I will gladly show them up on the screen, but I will also relay those to those who are just listening to us. Some are listening via a stream. ESPNWichita.com is one way to do that. If you have a smart speaker like me, use it. Don't just use it for lullabies and white noise. Tell your smart speaker to tune into ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM or KKGQ. And you should also check us out on the app. The ESPN Wichita app continues to get rave reviews, and lots of you continue to check us out on there. There will be giveaways on there. There have been before. There will be another giveaway that we will have for you. So I would download the app if I were you, because that giveaway will launch in a couple of weeks. So download the ESPN Wichita app today. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Pat Strathman, producing Easton John, and he's got a helper, Jimmy. I don't even know Jimmy's last name. What's Jimmy's last name, Easton? Tell me. What's Jimmy's last name?
It's Kaufman.
Kaufman. Jimmy Kaufman. I could have remembered the last name for you, Jimmy. Welcome aboard, Jimmy. I don't know why my brain went Jimmy Gobble for a moment. Do you remember Jimmy Gobble?
I don't know Jimmy Gobble.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
These
yeah,
kids.
you got another youngster here.
These
so.
kids, man. These kids
Uncultured.
nowadays. Uncultured. You uncultured swine, you. It's okay. Jimmy Gobble's not necessarily one that I would probably remember, I suppose, for good reasons. I don't remember him for good reasons. So anyways, Jimmy Kaufman is helping us out as well. 316-669-4996. That's the hotline number. 316-666-2285 is the text line number. If you want to chime in, say hello to Jimmy or Easton, or if you just want to talk sports, whatever's on your brain, hit us up, 316-666-2285. I do have 2 giveaways for you in this hour alone. If you want free admission to go catch the Sandlot at Starlight Drive-In, we have an opportunity for you to win that. We also have Kansas State Fair tickets that we're going to hand out as well. We have 2 4-packs left for the Kansas State Fair tickets. They have been going like hotcakes, and they should be. And honestly, the free admission for the Sandlot's great too. Everyone's been responding trying to win some free stuff. So we'll give you a chance to win some stuff here in the second hour. You need the text line 316-666-2285. If you want to stay up to date on your favorite teams, you need to make sure to follow us on social media. We are everywhere, and every single platform has been doing exceptionally well, and that's because of you all. You need to head over to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok. I'm sure Jimmy and Easton can teach us a thing or two about TikTok and trying to get more followers that way. But yes, we're on the talk. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere. Whatever your favorite platform is, give us a follow on that platform. Coming up here in 20 minutes, we should be joined by the Director of Athletics at Wichita State, Kevin Saul. The athletic year for 26-27 is officially here, and an exciting weekend that is coming up inside Charles Koch Arena. So we'll get into all that with Kevin Saul coming up here in just a little bit. We will also wrap things up at the very end of the program with a Throwback Thursday. So we will get to that here in just a little bit. Real quick, I want to remind you about Twin Peaks because, well, football is at our doorstep. And if you want to watch some football, or if you're looking for places to go to, there is only one place you need to go, and that is Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is at 21st and Rock. That is the east side location. Out west, it's at Ridge and Taft. They have a patio area at both those places that I don't know if I would sit at right now because it is a little toasty. But I do enjoy their patio area, especially when you get to the fall. It is really perfect. I also enjoy all the drink options that they have. The 29-degree man-sized draft is a personal preference of mine, but I know people go gaga over the tequila cocktails and other items on the menu. I also go gaga over all the food. The food does not miss at Twin Peaks. And I've had multiple things at the lodge, multiple. And there has yet to be one item that truly disappoints me. They just always hit the nail on the head. They do an incredible job when it comes to that. So, oh, and by the way, the atmosphere is good too. Check out our friends at Twin Peaks. Now that football is here, if you want to go catch football, wall-to-wall TVs, 29-degree man-sized drafts, the coldest beer in town, the best atmosphere, I'm telling you, it is all at Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views. All righty. Let's get to our sour play / performance of the week. And it is brought to you by Blind Lemon Hard Lemonade. And it's brewed by our friends at Monster Brewing Company. For a lot of you who have listened to the show, you recognize Monster Brewing Company and all the things that they do. They always look for different things. They try to get you a delicious drink. Well, the latest thing that they came up with was Blind Lemon Hard Lemonade. And it is the official hard lemonade of summer. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, dang, that's going to be really, really sweet, right? That's going to be really sweet. It's going to be very, very sugary. No, not the case. It's definitely sweet, but it's not over the top. There's definitely a punch that comes with it. They have all sorts of flavors. All of them are delicious. They have peach. They have our original lemonade. They have the cherry lemonade. They have the strawberry lemonade. They got a little bit of everything. And all of them taste amazing. Whether you're at the lake or you're just at the grill, just sweating because it's super hot outside, you can cool off with Blind Lemon Hard Lemonade, brewed by our friends at Monster Brewing Company. Check out your favorite retailer to get your hands on some of those. So, the sour play performance / news of the week. I always like to combine all of them because sometimes it's news, sometimes it's an actual performance, sometimes it could be something else. I have patiently waited for me to talk about Deshaun Watson. Because I'm sure you all have thoughts on Deshaun Watson. It's been dominating the news. It's a combo here. It's not only Deshaun Watson, but also the Cleveland Browns. It's a combo. It is a combo. So Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, he said this week that he didn't care about how fans reacted to him during Saturday's home preseason game, but he appeared to be a bit PO'd when asked at a post-game press conference about the boos that greeted his entry to the game in the third quarter. Watson was making his first appearance in a home game since he tore his Achilles in 2024, and he heard those boos before he took his first snap. They continued while he went 5 of 12 for 36 yards and an interception in a 31-7 loss to the Bills. Watson said, "I didn't have no reaction. I think the whole world knows it has nothing to do about the performance. It's a little bit more personal than that. I think that's a disrespectful thing. I'm going to keep whatever I feel with me and my family internally with how I feel about that and move on." Browns head coach Tom Monken said in his own press conference that everybody will be fine if Watson plays good football while helping the Browns win games. Deshaun Watson reiterated his disagreement with the idea that the booing is tied to performance. When asked if he agreed with that sentiment, he said, quote, "Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. That same fan base cheered when I got hurt. What does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person gets hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer." Watson signed a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract after being traded to the Browns ahead of the 2022 season, and he's played poorly in 19 starts since joining the club, and remains to be seen if he will really get a chance to go out there and start every game. But he has been named the starter for the Cleveland Browns. So there's two parts to this. One, Deshaun Watson, just his overall reaction in the press conference. Look, no athlete, no person should enjoy being booed. Like, no person should enjoy that unless you're like, yeah, give me your boos so I can go ahead and get fired up. No one wants to hear anyone tell them, hey, you suck. No one wants to hear that. And that's what boos basically mean. Boos basically like, boo, you suck. Now, there could be just the other thing, too. It's like, here's the Chargers stepping on the field. Boo, boo them because of the Chargers. We love the Chiefs, blah, blah, blah. But what's incredible to me is Deshaun Watson thinks that this is about something else. He truly thinks that this is, all right, it's not about the performance. It's about the fact that last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. That same fan base cheered when I got hurt. What does it have anything to do about performance? Well, you know why you're being booed? It's probably because, I don't know, you have this history that you have yet to really address to anyone. I can't envision the agent who is handling all this. Who's in charge of PR for Deshaun Watson? Because it should be, I don't want to say easy, but my goodness gracious, man. You've had so many opportunities to say something. And there hasn't been anything. It all started in March of 2021 when a Houston massage therapist filed a civil lawsuit delivered by an attorney to Watson, claiming that Watson had touched her while asking her for sex during a visit for her home for treatment in March 2020. And then you have a third lawsuit and so on and so forth. Well, Deshaun Watson, the only thing that he's really said is, I have never treated any woman with anything other than the utmost respect. By April 5th, you get 22 lawsuits were filed against Watson. 18 professional massage therapists have since expressed support of his character, though, saying that the allegations contradict their experiences with Watson. But 22 different lawsuits filed. On April 6th, 2 of the 22 women who had filed lawsuits publicly identified themselves at a press conference. On April 7th, 2021, Nike and Beats by Dre suspended endorsement deals with Watson. On March 11, 2022, a grand jury declined to indict Watson on criminal charges related to harassment and sexual misconduct. On that date, he still faced 22 civil lawsuits, many alleging sexual misconduct and assault. As of August 1st, 2022, all but one of the pending civil cases had been settled. As a result of these accusations, the NFL announced in August 2022 that Watson would be suspended for 11 games, pay a record $5 million fine, undergo evaluation by experts, and complete a treatment program. His fine and an additional $2 million will be donated to agencies that work to prevent sexual assault. I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson. Could you possibly think that, I don't know, maybe your actions have something to do with the booze? You can go out there and suck. You can go out there and be really, really good, and I don't think it would matter. And to address the whole booing thing in a press conference, you easily could have dodged a question. Or, better yet, you could have prevented, well, I don't want to say, you could have prevented this by just being a better human being. Let's just start that. But more so, you have the ability to show remorse and be able to say certain things. So, like, you've had so many opportunities here. So many opportunities. And you only continue to bury yourself. I get it, though. Cleveland, not maybe the greatest place to be and so on and so forth, but I don't care. You've had so many opportunities. And to sit here and be like, yeah, they booed. Look, yes, should fans boo someone from rupturing an Achilles? No, probably not. That would not be a wonderful thing. Boos are a disrespectful thing. Yeah, you know what's also disrespectful? All the things that you supposedly did. You've had multiple tries to try and make this better. And you simply haven't done squat. Nothing. And then you have the Cleveland Browns saying, yep, Deshaun Watson is going to be our starting quarterback. Deshaun Watson is our starting quarterback. Now, I don't know if that means he's going to be the starting quarterback for the entire year, but he's our starting quarterback. And this isn't a Shedeur Sanders thing. This isn't a whoever else is battling for the quarterback job. That's not what this is all about. Deshaun Watson being named a starter. The main reason why it's happening is, at least this is just based on what I see from the outside, the Browns going, damn, we paid him that much money. He costs so much. We got to play him. But this is also an opportunity for the Browns to say, no, we're not going to enable that dude. We're not going to support that guy. Hell no, we're not going to do that. What are we doing? Just a disaster of a week for the Cleveland Browns. What are you doing? You have the ability. And here's the other aspect too. If you're truly trying to build for the future and trying to win games, blah, 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 I would still think that Shedeur Sanders would be a better option than Deshaun Watson, who clearly hasn't shown squat either in terms of being a decent quarterback. Cleveland being Cleveland, man. That's what it is. But no, Deshaun Watson. Yeah, boos are disrespectful, but there's something else that's also disrespectful. Gee, I wonder what that could be. Not once has he shown any remorse. Not once has he looked himself in the mirror. Not a single moment. Not a single moment. What are you doing? I want to know who's giving you instructions for PR. And I want to say this. If I'm an agent, I want to touch you with a within 10 feet. I want with a 10-foot pole. I want to do anything. And then Browns, come on. You have the ability to stand up for something too now. You have the ability to stand up and go, nope, we want nothing a part of this. Nope, we ain't doing it. We ain't going to do anything. Both the Browns and Deshaun Watson, I guess they are perfect for each other. 316-666-2285. I hate this so much. He should be booed. Like, buddy, you're lucky you're only getting booed. 100%, Corey. When was there a performance worth celebrating, says another texter. Watson hasn't given the Browns fans anything to celebrate. Wake up. Yes, 100%. You should be booed, and it should be a lot worse. Anywho, my sour play news performance. Deshaun Watson commenting at a press conference about boos being disrespectful. And then the play would be the fact that the Browns decided to go ahead and go, yeah, let's name this guy starting quarterback. I don't care how bad Shedeur Sanders is. I don't care how bad he's been or how outlandish maybe he can be. I don't care. You had an opportunity to do something, and now you have Deshaun Watson, who's going to be starting. Terrible. All right, 316-666-2285. That's the text line number. Hey, let's give you something to win. Let's give away the free pass to go see The Sandlot at the Starlight Drive-In. If you want to go, text the word baseball to 316-666-2285. You have a chance to relive a summertime classic under the stars at a place that means a whole heck of a lot to this community. Starlight Drive-In is a staple. It is a place that I went to with my now wife at a very early stage when we were dating. I see why it's important. It is something to enjoy. Well, this weekend, they have The Sandlot. And it's not a movie that necessarily goes out to drive-ins all that often. So this is a huge deal to have 3 different features take place over the weekend. And this free pass is good for any one of these, by the way. It doesn't have to be, hey, you're locked in the Saturday. No, you can do whatever. It's the movie that brings back baseball, friendship, and one unforgettable summer. Grab the family, load up the car, and make some memories of your own for just $20 a car load. I have a free pass, though. You don't need to pay $20 because I have a free pass. If you want to go this weekend, text the word baseball to 316-666-2285. That's 316-666-2285. I do need you to be here at this building before 4:30 tomorrow. If you don't make it here by 4:30 tomorrow, then we got some problems because they're going to just poof, they're going to go away. But if you are able to go to the Starlight Drive-In this weekend, it's The Sandlot. You can pick whatever feature you want for this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. If you want to go, text word baseball to 316-666-2285. It's The Sandlot with ESPN Wichita at the Starlight Drive-In. When we return, an exciting weekend is upon us for Wichita State. It kind of feels like the real kickoff for the athletic year with volleyball getting a chance to play this weekend. To talk more about that, we will talk to the Director of Athletics, Kevin Saul, when we return.
You're tuned into The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Something big is coming. On September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive offers, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. Sign up with DraftKings today with code Wichita and get ready to celebrate the biggest day of the season. Whatever you're betting, DraftKings Game Day has deals dropping all day long. One app, every sport. DraftKings Game Day is yours. Mark the date, September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of a new season, a new era, and the biggest day in sports history. Get ready to celebrate. New DraftKings customers, sign up with code Wichita, spend $5 to get 200 in bonus bets within 21 days. That's code Wichita in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Kansas only. Eligibility restrictions apply. On behalf of
We have
Boot Hill
Kevin
Casino
Saul
and
on and
Resort,
ready.
$50
Hey,
in
you?
non-withdrawable bonus bets issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see
Pat,
sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
question. Do you know
Limited time
do you know
offer.
what Adrian Holden?
Yeah, Adrian is doing a little internship with us.
Nice. He was my college roommate last year.
Oh, nice. I'll have to bring that up.
He's a buddy of mine in school.
Touchdown, Kansas!
Join us Friday, September 4th.
Got 15 to
as the
bumper.
Jayhawks start
Thank
the
you.
2026 campaign against the LIU Sharks in Lawrence on your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Button you up now.
Welcome back to the Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. I'm Pat Strathman. A new athletic year is upon us. And I know this guy who joins us now is extremely excited about 26-27. It is the director of athletics at Wichita State, Kevin Saul. Kevin, glad to have you back. How was summer, and are you ready for a new athletic year?
Yeah, Pat, we're doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's fantastic, man. Looking ahead to this weekend, you have volleyball that is really kind of like the kickoff, I suppose, for the athletic year. But in some ways, though, you already had the kickoff party because of the black and yellow gala, and I know people were excited about that. So here we go. 26-27's here.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we're starting year 5 and feel really blessed to do it. It feels like some days it feels like we've been here 4 days, Pat, and some days it feels like we've been here 4 decades. But it's a special place to be. We got good people, and certainly enjoy journeying with you all, and appreciate being on the show. We've got volleyball that kicks up after 2 exhibition matches. They took care of Omaha at their place and UMKC here on Saturday, and now they kick it up this weekend. We play at 6 Friday, 6 Saturday, and noon Sunday. We've got Stephen F. Austin, Idaho State, and Missouri State, so it'll be a nice start. And then we've got a home against Kansas. We go out and play 2 ranked teams out in Colorado. We play Northern Iowa twice up at their place. So Chris Lamb in his normal Chris Lamb style loads up the schedule. We've got cross country coming up here soon as well with the JK Gold. And I'm going to tell you what, Pat, I'm going to keep your eyes focused on our men's cross country team, because I think this is the first time since I think 87 is the last time we won a conference championship in men's cross country. And I think we have a real opportunity to do that this year. So we're excited about that.
Oh, man. All right. Well, definitely we'll be following very, very closely there when it comes to cross country. So that's exciting stuff. And I tell you right now, I mean, everyone's excited about men's basketball. That's going to be here before you know it. I didn't want to shortchange volleyball or men's cross country or any other program, but it's hard not to get excited about men's basketball when you see the amount of talent that's returning, but also seeing a big marquee game on the road at Rupp Arena. And I know Paul Mills is still he told me last week that, hey, the non-conference stuff, we're ready to rock and roll. We're just waiting for the ink basically to dry. But I would imagine that it's been a good day. I mean, heck, right now you have the Champions Club sold out for 26-27. So obviously people are excited about men's basketball.
Well, we got a lot going on. We're really excited about that. You remember last year we had 600 new season tickets sold, and we had about a 90% renewal rate last year from the previous year. This year we look like we're going to be at about 92 to 93% renewed. We've got about 270, 280 season tickets sold. Our goal is another 500. So, Pat, when you think about a stadium that seats 10-6, we will have sold 1,100 new season tickets in the last 2 seasons. You know, that's almost 10% of the arena, which is some real progress. So we're excited about that. We only have about 260 lower bowl seats left. And so, Shocker Nation, you want to come down and support what is a building a really, really good basketball program. We've gone from 15 wins to 19 wins to 24 wins. We returned 10 of 15 from last year. The average team in our league is going to lose 9 to the portal this year. So the retention piece is clearly a strong suit for our men's basketball program. And, Pat, that's what our fans want. And so we just encourage folks, give us a call, 316-978-FANS. Get your season tickets because it's going to be a great home schedule. I think it's 17, 18 home games. We've got New Mexico. We got Boise State. We got a neutral at Southern Cal. We're going to play them in Tahoe. We got the game in Rupp against Kentucky. And then we got the neutral site against Kansas State as well. So it's going to be a really tough schedule and should be an at-large schedule for us.
Well, I haven't had a chance to really ask you about the contract extension for Paul Mills. Figured I'd just give you an opportunity to talk a little bit more about that. I'd ask Coach Paul Mills of, like, it's kind of a weird thing. Like, when do you do it? When do you talk about that? And from someone in your shoes, from an athletic director perspective, take me through the process of why getting this done now rather than maybe, down the line, I suppose.
Yeah, I think if you were to pick any day of the year and you were to ask an AD or a sport administrator, what are the priorities for the respective head coach that you work with, or what are the obstacles or the challenges? Boy, you better be able to come up with at least 80% of them, right? That means you got to be on the same page with your coach. And so I think it's a 365 day out of the year. We're texting, we call, we stop by each other's offices, but typically, Pat, at the end of the year is when you start to go through A to Z, every aspect of the program, from recruiting to budgets to roster to staff to facilities to everything. And you talk about everything. And part of that conversation is, where you are in terms of competitively. Obviously, really high expectations for us. Where are you competitively? Where are we financially? And you've got to keep the contract in the back of the mind as well. And so that's just a natural time to do that at the end of the season. And I think some of the media outlets here in Wichita were thinking there was a supreme strategy to the timing of the announcement of that, and there really is not. It's you engage in a conversation and you figure out what the priorities are for each side. And at the end of the day, I think it's a very responsible and reasonable and methodical growth. I mean, we signed him to a 5-year deal, and he had 2 left. Years 4 and 5 are the exact same structure as years 1 and 2. And it proceeds with the same growth. And so I appreciate Paul has a really big picture, good understanding of where we are financially in the department, and he wants to be helpful in all those things. And it just felt like the right thing to do based on the direction of our program. And as you've heard us talk about a lot, we think direction determines destination, and there's a lot of things to be proud of.
Well, I'm going to kind of make this open-ended kind of for whatever you want to do here, and that is the Kenyon Giles news. I know there was a statement that was released, and you could just point to the statement, and we're okay with that, but how much do you pay attention to that? I guess you're paying attention to pretty much everything in college athletics because it's always evolving. Every day is something new, I suppose.
Yeah, you may have to ring the gong for me here, but I'll kind of walk through where we are on this, Pat. And if it gets too long, you can interrupt me. But at the end of the day, you have 2 buckets of court cases that are going on. You got a class action suit in Colorado that involves the entire incoming 2022 class, of which Kenyon Giles is a member of that. Ron Boyd's a member of that. Jaden Gustafson's a member of that. And the initial court issued an injunction to the NCAA's 5-for-5 eligibility rule, making the entire class eligible. So we announced Kenyon shortly after that. And then shortly after that, the NCAA goes in and files a motion for a stay, which basically means a pause on that injunction, and they were granted that stay. So what that means is in the next month to 6 weeks, there's going to be a hearing where that's going to be heard. That issue is going to be heard on the merits of each side, and the final decision is going to be made on the entire class. And then what you have is a second bucket, which is all of these named plaintiff cases in these individual states: Ohio, Tennessee, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, California's got one. And there's a predefined list of student athletes that basically the same process as the Colorado case. The court has said, we're going to injunct, if you will, we're going to issue an injunction on the NCAA's 5-for-5 eligibility rule. This list of student athletes is eligible. And the NCAA has gone in the state of Tennessee and in the state of Ohio, and they have successfully gotten a stay on that injunction. And in those courts, they will be heard. Those issues will be heard and will be ruled on here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So the trick is on Monday, we know that Kenyon is a named plaintiff on the South Carolina case that'll be heard on Monday. And so the odds are that Kenyon will become eligible again on Monday until the maneuvering stops. But the bottom line in all of this, Pat, is, and I think I hope our fans appreciate this, there's 2 ways we could go about it. We've chosen to go about it in a proactive way. You mentioned the quote, we want to be supportive of our student athletes and keep those plates spinning for them so that if they do get another year of eligibility, that we're ready for them. The other way to approach it is just say, hey, these court cases aren't going to amount to anything. Don't try to get creative. Don't try to accommodate your student athletes if they get another year, and just assume that it's not going to happen. Well, we're not going to do that. We're going to put our program in a position to be successful and maximize on things. And so that means we've got to keep some plates spinning. And so we will do that until we get some clarity from the courts. And again, I think it's not manipulation. There's clearly some examples of manipulation that are going on, but what we're trying to do is keep all our options open so that we can be in a really, really good spot when we get to the end of the road. Well,
Kevin, I appreciate you addressing that. Wanted to just kind of make that open-ended and allow you to kind of take the baton to do what you want to do there. So I really appreciate that because I think everyone's trying to figure out what's going on with this entire situation. So really do appreciate that. Director of Athletics at Wichita State joining us here on the Pulse, and Kevin Saul kind of giving you a little sneak peek at what's really going to happen, I suppose, with the athletic year officially being here. Right, I'm looking across from our studio right now, Kevin, and there's heavy machinery and it's shaking our cameras and making noise over this way. I'm sure you're probably a pro by now, considering all the construction going on over that way. But how about the progress of some of the different facilities going on over there on the campus of Wichita State?
Yeah, so about a month ago, we were all sitting in our offices and we thought we were having an earthquake because the entire west side of what was Cessna Stadium came crashing down. And if you were to come over here now, there's really about maybe 1/5 of that lower concrete stadium structure that's still there. They're moving it out. They're going to go down about 4 feet to get into utilities and concrete foundations and those sort of things. And so you'll see over the next year, you'll see that being built back up. We'll have seating for State High School track there because that's really, really important to us. We may have to do some temporary restrooms concessions on the backside, but we'll have the seating done by then. Feel really good about that. There's an athletic training suite in there. There's a broadcast booth in there. There's some opportunities to do some really cool things in there. And Pat, one of the things that we think about when we do an athletic training suite, a sports medicine suite over in that facility is we may have an opportunity to vacate the one that's in Koch Arena and create another version of the Champions Club, given that we're sold out in the Champions Club right now, and create some additional premium spaces. So there's a lot of thought that's put into those things and what the second and third order effects are there. Wilkins Stadium's coming along great. There'll be, in the last 5 years, about $14 million invested in that. As you know, the indoor facility is done and currently working on the Wadsworth Family Team Operations Center, which is all dried in at this point. Drywall's going up. You got data lines and all the plumbing and utility rough-ins are done. They should be able to move in there in January. So I'm really excited about those guys getting into the third base dugout in their new home facilities for this upcoming season. And she returns everybody on the roster, and you know how impressive that roster is. So we certainly look to repeat as champions and make our way back to the NCAA tournament there. We've done about $2.5 million in EC here in the last 3 years. And then we've got this $18 million tennis facility that's going to start late October. That's the largest single gift in the history of WSU of any category. And we've had some real fundraising success off that as well. So we get an $18 million tennis facility for free. We got to pay for furniture, fixtures, and equipment when we get in there. And then we got to pay for the annual operating. And we've got commitments close to about $5 million on naming various aspects of that facility as well. So things are going really, really well from that perspective. We've got about $100 million in capital projects dedicated specifically to athletics, which is just unheard of. So we're touching every program with those improvements, and we feel really good about it. We're excited about our facilities and where they're going.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'm glad you just brought up what Christy Bredbender is doing by bringing back basically the entire roster. You have Paul Mills bringing back a good core of guys too, having 10 guys come back. What does it say about Wichita State as a whole, Kevin, to have multiple programs have that type of retention in today's day and age for college athletics?
Well, I think it's really important, and you can look at sports like men's cross country. We're gonna vie for a championship there because we have done a really good job in retention. You can look at women's tennis, who won the team doubles championship last fall, was ranked number 1 going into the conference tournament, made their first NCAA tournament since 2018. That continuity, he's got everybody coming back on that tennis team as well. And so the continuity is really important. Prioritizing our roster resource dollars on retention is really important. And provided it's the right student athletes that put us in a good spot competitively, that's what our fans want as well, right? We hear all the time that from our fans that we want players that are going to stick around, that we can get to know and build relationships with. And you're getting that in multiple sports programs throughout our sport portfolio. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, no doubt. No, all good things from that point of view, knowing just how difficult it is to retain some of these college athletes. So the fact that there's so many familiar faces that are going to be on campus again, that's all exciting stuff. So can't wait. Well, Kevin, appreciate your time as always. It's exciting. The new athletic year is here, and definitely excited about all the things happening there on the campus of Wichita State. So, Kevin, appreciate your time. Looking forward to talking to you again next month.
All right, Pat. Thanks so much for having us on the show, and go Shockers.
Kevin Saul, Director of Athletics at Wichita State, here on the Pulse and ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. A lot of stuff there. I'm glad Kevin was willing to go down the timeline a little bit about how things are progressing from the Kenyon Giles standpoint, because I was curious, but also know that a statement's been released, and when a statement goes out there, it's hey, sometimes you just kind of point to that and call it good. So I appreciate Kevin giving us insight on that, because it's been a wild ride. I'm sure that for Wichita State fans, you get pumped up that a guy's eligible, and then all of a sudden he's not, and now you're trying to figure out what's going to happen here for the future. So appreciate Kevin giving us a timeline there, or at least a little bit of a timeline there. Facility-wise, there's a lot of stuff going on over there on that campus, and it's going to be exciting to see everything when everything's officially finished. But, yeah, we got heavy machinery in front of us. I know there's been plenty of heavy machinery over that way on the campus of Wichita State. But good conversation with Kevin Saul, as he brought up volleyball officially set to get things underway. And it all starts tomorrow with an invitational. So if you're looking at trying to maybe figure out what to do this weekend, there is a good opportunity there to go catch Lambo's team, who's the head coach over there at Wichita State Volleyball. All right, coming up here in a little bit, we do have a review from Easton John, because he finally watched Field of Dreams. It took him a long time, but he finally watched it. I do have something to give away, though, before we get to that point. So we have maybe 2 family 4-packs of tickets. I think we're down to 2 for the Kansas State Fair. If you want to go to the Kansas State Fair, I need you to text the word FAIR to 316-666-2285. September 11th through the 20th, 316-666-2285, Kansas State Fair in Hutch. We're going to be out there on Friday, September 18. If you wear your red and celebrate Kansas Lottery's Chiefs Red Friday on that day, you will get yourself a ticket for just $5. Show your Play On app at the gate and get in for only $5. If you're not a Play On app member, that's okay. You can join for free at kslottery.com to get in on the deal. Text the word FAIR to 316-666-2285 to win 4 GA tickets to the Kansas State Fair. If you don't win anything from us, Well, you do have some other options. For instance, you should go to Hutch on Monday, September 14 for Dylan's Dollar Day. Entry is just $1 or free with your Dylan's Plus card. That is a deal worth celebrating. They also have some other deals as well. Kansas State Fair is a fantastic time. My wife has very fond memories of the Kansas State Fair, and I had a chance to experience it a couple years ago. And I got to say, I look forward to going back every single year. 316-666-2285. Text the word FAIR to win 4 GA tickets to the Kansas State Fair. When we return, a Throwback Thursday and a movie review. We'll get to that next here on The Pulse.
The heartbeat of Wichita sports fans. The Pulse on ESPN Wichita.
Hey, Pat, Easton had to step
Sean
away.
Tarbell with
so
Davis Moore
he is not
Chevrolet.
here at
Summer's
the
not
moment, so I'll
over.
be filling
Neither
in.
is your
What
Shut It.
in
Great
the
news. We've got
heck?
a massive selection of
I
new
know.
Chevys on the lot, and the savings right now are some of the best we've seen all year. Get a
What, you just think
2026
that you
Chevy
can
Traverse
just
with
slack
2.9%
while being the
APR
producer for the
financing and no
show?
payments
What
until
the
November,
heck?
Or save up to $11,000
I know he got
off
pulled
MSRP,
in
or
some
get
other
0%
direction,
financing for
unfortunately.
5 years on a
Can't say I'm
2026 Chevy
surprised.
Silverado 1500 Coupe Cab. Together with Strive and Davis Moore Chevrolet.
I can
Located
see
under
what
the
I
Big
can say
American
about
flag
Field of
in
Dreams. I
Kellogg
haven't
and
seen
Tyler.
it.
Check this out online at davis-moorechevrolet.com.
No, you're good. You don't need a drum up a made-up opinion. You don't need to do that.
I'll look it up real quick.
No, you don't need to do that at all.
You've probably already heard that Truck Stuff is the place to go to lift, level, or lower your truck. And of course, we have an enormous in-stock selection of bed covers, running boards, and floor mats. But did you know that we do wheels and tires, gear swaps, and spray and bed liners? Stop by today to deck out your ride at Truck Stuff at the corner of Central and Washington.
Check us out. Truck Stuff.
The future stars of women's golf are returning to the birthplace of the LPGA for the 5th year in a row. Golfers from the Annika Women's All-Pro Tour are set to head to Wichita for the 2026 Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces at Rolling Hills Country Club September 8th through the 13th. Interact with the golfers by being a part of the Pro-Am or bring the kids for the free Junior Pro-Am and the Kids Golf Clinic. Mark your calendars for September 8th to the 13th for the Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces.
Your home for Kansas football is ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Football coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Lance Leipold.
Pointed to
I
bumper.
can't even believe we're heading into our 6th season. When you think about that, it just seems like yesterday we got here and time keeps moving. Got through spring well. Really impressed with our guy.
Every play, every update, every interview. Jayhawks football is here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Rock Chalk.
Putting you up.
Summer has come and passed.
Oh, man, I haven't heard this song in a long, long time. I have questions. Well, first and foremost, I have been informed that Easton decided to bail, so that's wonderful. It goes to show you how locked in Easton is when it comes to producing this show. It's certainly something he looks forward to on a regular basis. I hope
it's unfair.
I'm sure Easton. I hope you don't actually relate that to him, because I know Easton would be like, "I'm like, Pat's being serious. I'm not being serious at all when it comes to that."
I'm gonna tell him you're being dead serious.
Yeah, please. Yeah, let me know what he says. I'm sure he's he probably would be like, Pat might be serious though. So I'm sure he'll have a little bit of a heart attack. My question is, because it's always up to the producer to pick the bumper. Is this all you're doing, Jimmy?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that I picked like my favorite song, but I know some Green Day.
Okay. See, that song from Green Day is just, it does nothing for me. It just doesn't.
Really?
Yeah. Green Day is fine. Can I just say that? Green Day's fine.
I think they're good fall music.
They're just okay. I know that's probably controversy for some, but for me, they're just fine. They're okay.
Who's better than okay?
Well, that's a loaded list. So yeah, I can spend a lot of time on that. But Green Day is just not one of them. I don't know. Maybe because I've heard so many of their songs that it just got tiresome to me. Someone said, "Thank you, Pat. Green Day is awesome." That song is crap. Okay. All right. Well, at least that person understands that he doesn't like that song sucks in particular for Green Day. I just think Green Day is just okay to me. I don't know. Maybe I just need to brush up on it and listen to them a little bit more. But that's a song that was probably, man, I was a teenager probably when that song came out. Yeah, 2004 is when it was released. So yeah, I was 14 when the song was released.
What day in 2004?
In terms of let me look.
Because I was born in 2004.
September 24th. Oh, no, hold on. The single was released on June 13. Okay, hold on. What is going on here? This is where AI just completely just ruins some things. I like AI. It's fine. But, okay, so Wake Me Up When September Ends. It was the 4th single from their 7th studio album, American Idiot. In 2004.
4 singles?
I don't know. I really don't. But
4 singles, that's practically the album.
Yeah. Now, American Idiot, though, I believe that some would say that's one of the best albums and one of the better albums in music history. American Idiot, I can mess with that. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Holiday, Wake Me Up When September Ends is just not good. Someone said Born in 04. Oh, my Atlanta. Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah, well, now we're learning a lot about Jimmy here because, I had a movie review lined up for Easton, and Easton decided to bail. So apparently he didn't want the hot takes from the texters on the old text line when it comes to watching Field of Dreams. Here's another thing, another fun fact for you listeners. Jimmy has never seen Field of Dreams. So
you're with the younger youngster.
What movies have you seen? Because now I just want to focus on movies. So
this is a loaded question.
It is a loaded question. But what kind of movies have you actually seen? Are you a movie person?
I've become a movie person.
That means you're not a movie person. So go ahead.
No.
Yeah, that's fine.
I enjoy a lot of movies today. I have not seen a lot of your classic movies. I've seen the Star Wars, of course, Indiana Jones, stuff like that.
Now I know why you were hired for Union Broadcasting. Now I know, because you love Star Wars. That's like a requirement. Yeah. I thought I was going to get fired out at Super Bowl Radio Row when I made a comment about Star Wars. I thought my boss was going to fire me right then and there when I made a comment.
Yeah, half of the interview was them asking me about Star Wars species and what my favorite movie was.
Oh my gosh.
Just to make sure I didn't say any of the Disney Star Wars movies.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. I love how that's where he's going. Notice how he didn't bring up some other, classics for cinema. You go to Star Wars and Indiana Jones. That's what you go.
Good series. That's a good series.
Man, I wish Shane was here. Shane would just grill you on some stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Sandlot? Oh my gosh, Jimmy.
Yeah, I haven't seen The Sandlot. Yeah, here we go. I told you it was going to get bad.
Wow.
I told you it was going to be bad.
Have you seen Remember the Titans?
Yeah, you're not going to like my answer there either. It's gonna get. I actually had
Jimmy.
I had basically a whole ritual over the movies I haven't seen,
and I'm not even going. I'm not even going to some of the greatest movies of all time. I'm not even asking you about Shawshank Redemption. I'm not even asking you about The Godfather. I'm not asking you about those. I'm asking you just purely sports movies, and you're telling me you haven't seen those classics I brought up.
When it comes to sports, I watch the games. I don't watch a ton of the sports movies, honestly.
Got to make him go to the drive-in. Somebody just said, got to make you go to the drive-in this weekend. Yeah, come on down to Wichita. I'll make sure to do it. Gosh.
Sure, yeah, a worthy road trip. I gotta get educated.
This is wild. You haven't seen The Godfather. You haven't seen Shawshank Redemption.
Nope.
Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
No, that one I haven't seen. I have not seen that. It's bad news. It's bad news.
Wow.
Really
Really
let you down
incredible.
like this, Pat. Really.
Really incredible. Fight Club?
Nope. I'm telling you, I think about 90% of the movies you're going to ask about are going to be a no. If it's not 90, it's going to be like 95.
Someone just said making us 2000 kids look like uncultured. Come on, Jimmy. I bet he has seen Polar Express and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, have I seen Polar Express? No, I know some Polar Express. I love Polar Express. That's a classic. That's a classic.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Polar Express sucks so bad.
What?
Yes.
No, you can't look at that soundtrack and tell me it's bad.
No.
I cannot stand for
Of
that.
all the
I really
holiday films, that is the one holiday film that is at the very bottom of my list.
No, that's got some of the best music in any Christmas movie. Stamp it. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
I mean, Christmas Vacation, obviously.
Okay, that one's fine.
Don't say that one's fine.
That one's fine.
Don't say that one's fine.
It's no Elf, but it's fine.
Look, Elf is Elf is good. I'll admit Elf is good, but man, we're gonna run out of time here. Yep, there we go. I feel like I have to have Jimmy on the air now to just continue to dig deep into this, but we're out of time. Golly, Jimmy.
I'll come back. You can grill me as much as you like. We can do a whole episode of shows or of movies I haven't seen.
Oh my gosh. I'm petrified of figuring out what your 4 favorite films are, but we'll save that for another day. For young buck Jimmy, who's never seen a good movie in his life, and producer Easton John, I'm Pat Strathman saying so long, Wichita. We'll see you tomorrow at 2:00.